Okay. Let's do this. I'm really glad that they added the option to like rewind
Like, I
and
mean,
stuff.
I have a ton of questions. Like, if we can go
I'm doing
longer,
pretty
that'd be
good.
great. But if not, don't worry about it. It's all
Yo,
good.
yo, yo, what up?
So I want to start like right
How y'all
with.
doing?
Sorry.
We'll try to be efficient with the answers.
Hell yeah. Okay, I like that, man. That's one of my favorite words in gaming. Efficient.
Cheers.
All right. So starting with the leveling experience.
Yo, yo,
so,
yo.
right now, running the campaign, especially on the PTR and also in the live game to a degree, seems to be like one of the most efficient ways and most rewarding parts just for leveling up your character. Now, I like that the campaign is like good and rewarding, but is it by design that this is like potentially like the best way to level up, even in comparison to, you know, like going into like higher difficulty and leveling up there?
I'll say like we don't necessarily like the disparity between the campaign and the rest of the game right now, but we also don't want to just like take it away from the campaign and not give other vectors to create like a satisfying and sort of lucrative experience while you're leveling. So I'll try and be efficient. Like I think right now when we look at the leveling curve, we feel like the early 1 to 20 levels just feel a little bit too fast. You're leveling constantly every 10 seconds, and I just feel like that sort of cheapens the overall experience of the sort of zero to hero power fantasy that Diablo is known for. So we kind of want to like slow that down, but then take all that time that we've sort of taken away and put it into the sort of 50 to 60, or take it out of the 50 to 60, I should say.
Interesting.
So overall, the same exact leveling time to level, but we just want to slow down the beginning part
later levels shorter.
No, that's not exactly what you asked. But the sort of campaign stuff is something we've been taking a look at. We also want to like reward quest XP from certain quests a little bit more through the difficulty tiers, right? That'll help level up Nightmare Dungeons and Whispers and that sort of thing. So that is something we're looking into and we want to add to the game. And we think that'll sort of encourage you to play on hard and expert, right? If a Whisper turn in, or the individual Whispers or Nightmare Dungeon completion scale off of difficulty XP gains. And we think that'll like sort of create more of a competitive space between the campaign and the rest of the game. And then one more note is that we're also looking at the season's journey as like kind of the replacement for the campaign. If you don't want to play the campaign, I think the season's journey is like a good place to earn skill points and things like that. And I think right now one of the things that's sort of missing from that is some XP hits. So those are some of the things we're looking at.
Yeah, I really like that answer, in particular, like making higher difficulty more rewarding, because like this is not only a problem I feel oftentimes in the leveling, but also in the end game where you're not really getting like a crazy amount of rewards if you challenge your character. So if you can do something like in that direction, like what you mentioned, and like going more into like making when you actually like really challenge the character to make it more rewarding. Because I also noticed this, for example, like fighting Duriel and like his hordes of maggots in the Helltide, like the new thing in season 11, like that felt awesome. But it was also the same for those like maggots that you can kill with the divine gift. They give XP globes, but those globes, like they give the same XP, whether you did them on normal or on hard or even on expert or something, right? So is that also something that you might want to look at? Because it's just like wasn't rewarding if you were challenging yourself in a harder difficulty.
Yeah, it's definitely something we're looking into. I will say there was like a bug where all the maggots were dropping XP globes also, which was creating kind of a crazy, insane leveling curve. Yeah, there's specific maggots, the Duriel maggots, and they have lots of XP globes in them because, they're Duriel maggots. So that's something we're fixing. We're also looking to make sure to compensate the overall curve and difficulty for it.
Okay, that's cool. I mean, I gotta say, like, leveling felt great. I was like initially worried because we didn't have any skill points to begin with, but I think you guys like tuned it already pretty well. And then if like the harder difficulties get a bit more rewarding, that's gonna be great.
I think we forgot it in the patch notes, so I'll just say it here, and then we'll make sure.
Are they releasing
we actually did a pretty big
drink mixing
baseline monster health and damage change?
Thing?
So
I don't know.
in no way, shape, or form.
How many more years does the Paladin drop? Probably next year.
Slow down the game.
Probably.
And we want you to play longer. Is more like, if we're not going to give you 15 skill points to start, we should probably rebalance the base monster health and damage, which we did. And we want those skill points and Paragon points that you earn from the season's journey to feel like actual rewards, right? Like if we just took them out and didn't touch monster base health and damage, then you would just feel like you're treading water, getting back to the point where you were in the previous season. We don't want it to feel like that. We want those skill points and Paragon points to feel like a meaningful reward. So I'll just pull a number out of my ass. I think it was like, I'll give you an example of the amount of change we did. I think it's like
why they took your skill points?
Baseline. I think
you just don't start with them anymore, and you earn them through the season journey now
at level 50 or something insane like that. And like you don't really notice when you're playing the PTR.
I think it felt way better.
But those were the changes that we've made, and we're dialing in for season 11 launch as well.
Yeah, from how it felt to me also, like it was like just as fast as season 10. It felt very smooth throughout the way. So I think it was already a good job. If more difficulty becomes more rewarding, it's perfect to me. Going on, like we have the reintroduction of the capstone dungeons on the PTR. I really like to see them come back, and also that you don't necessarily like lock all the difficulty behind the capstones now. But that being said, I know
them finding all the damn altars. Yep,
in Diablo
and that'll still be the case on Eternal.
In particular, often feel
what
like
up, Anxiety? How you
they're
doing?
like just overwhelmingly tanky and not.
Yeah,
really
they're basically removing
engaging,
renown from the seasonal realm.
And from some of the sentiment that I hear from the community. This is like true in some capstone dungeons. It's
doing
also
good?
true,
Heck yeah.
specifically in the tower later on. So are there any like plans to rework like some of the boss designs or to rework some of the numbers to make the fights like less about like it being a damage sponge and a bit more interesting and maybe like a bit more on the dangerous side as well?
Yeah, on the tower end, a lot of that was kind of like a scaling bug, I guess, to some degree. So a lot of the tower bosses have had their health kind of brought in line with what you might normally expect from a boss at that
Need to
tier
rework
in
the
the
skill
pit
menu.
lane
It's about time for
right
them to change the look of it.
away.
They have confirmed that they are
As
doing
far
a
as
major
capstones
revamp
are
to the skill
concerned,
tree with the
we kind of
expansion.
made one big change is they don't have resilience going forward.
I don't
anymore.
remember
So,
exactly
season
what
1
information was made
there's
public,
not
so I don't want to speak
resilience
too
on the
much about
capstone
it,
bosses.
but it's
But
changing
beyond
pretty
that,
dramatically.
the goal is to make them a bit less tanky, but a bit more dangerous. And then specifically across the game bosses, it's just tuning, right? We're looking at it, but for those two features, they should be way less tanky and not be like 5-minute tower fights and stuff like that at the end.
Yeah, that sounds great. That's perfect for me.
Yeah. Real quick, I think it's an interesting insight. You'll probably appreciate this, Rob. Is like at a systems level, when we went and tuned all the rarity stuff, bosses were gaining. Trying to translate it. It's all like Excel numbers, right? So it's hard to like create a player-facing value.
Oh yeah, give me some numbers. That'd be awesome.
It won't mean anything, right? I'll tell you
like
what we see, which is like bosses had like an additional 4,000% HP. 4,000% doesn't really mean anything to you because it gets translated into something else. But you can think of it as like the bosses at a baseline are, if you take your average Sea Hag or dungeon boss, it's probably somewhere around like 60%.
I realize I'm like on top of Rob.
So all bosses across the game had like roughly a 60% nerf if they were a dungeon boss, and then it carries over into Varshan and Duril and things like that.
No
but
red for Diablo?
Degree, like it probably was like, I don't know, like a 10% HP nerf to Duril, for example.
That's great.
So all the bosses did get nerfed in terms of HP.
Thanks for sharing this. I mean, we also love to crush numbers. So 60% less, that's good. That sounds really good, man. Like looking forward to be seeing that like once the season hits. Next, I want to talk about itemization, masterworking, tempering, that kind of stuff. So with the new ethics pool expansion, like you guys added like a ton of like new defensive aspects with the way that monsters are more dangerous and stuff. But it also feels like very hard now to get some items, especially like when you're enchanting. I noticed this specifically, like, I don't know, you're trying to get skill ranks on your gloves or something, or a certain passive on the amulet. It feels like much harder and often takes like dozens of rerolls at the enchanter. Are there any plans to make the
I can definitely recap the important stuff, yeah. Not everything, but like the highlights.
Just like pure RNG, like maybe you add, another option. Like I think right now we have 2 options and then no change as the third option. Like, would you guys be open to adding like 3 options and then no change or something like that? Because
that would be nice.
It's just like, I don't know, like there's like 5, 6, 7 new affixes on each item, and it just makes getting what you want like a lot harder, especially enchanting.
Yeah, I'll say like a couple of things that we changed from the PTR. As an example, is that we've added cooldown reduction to gloves, rings, and I think so that's already like 3 more sources of CDR.
People were worried they weren't going to be able to get enough cooldown reduction.
We've changed the weighting of the CDR affix to be the same as like your average, affix, so like crit chance and things like that. So it's like roughly 4 times as more common. So we are definitely looking at places where we can just sort of allow those types of things. We like that legendaries are sort of like create your own unique, right? We like that they're a little bit more random than the unique. So that is something we're always paying attention to. In terms of enchanting, I will say like it is a priority for the team to be looking more into crafting and endgame of Diablo. I feel like we haven't like really hit the item modification or sort of slot machine, if you will, crafting loop that we know and love from Diablo. We think like we have a lot of like vertical growth on like make your item better, but we don't really have enough of the like how do I like try and make this item really cool and awesome if it doesn't start out cool and awesome. So that is something that we are looking into. We want to service better as part of the end game.
Not much detail there, but I like the thought process.
Is that also something that you are looking to do on amulets? Because right now, even in the live game season 10, it's very hard to get like the amulet that you want. Like most players want an amulet like a main stat percent and then 2 useful passives, right? And now with the new system, it's going to be like main stat and then 3 passives ideally, because I just don't see a world where you ever want like life per second on your amulet versus, you know, like 2 + 2 to heavy-handed or +2 to envenom or whatever passive that gives you 10% damage or something. So is there any like any plans to like maybe like I don't know, like make it a bit easier to get the amulet that you want? It's just so crazy now. Like I tried even with the cheat vendor, even with infinite obols on the cheat vendor on the PTR, I couldn't get the amulet that I want. It was not possible.
Yeah, run some more Undercity. I'm just kidding. Yeah, I think that is something that we're always looking at the affix list, and I think it's a good point. It's something we can definitely take away and look into. Some of it is like a really tricky balance, right? We're always trying to make sure that the affixes that do roll on base gear have some use or purpose, right? And I think life per second sort of like is in that category where it's like really hard to really put a nail on it, right? It's like, well, it's really good early. So does that mean we should like take it out of the pool entirely in the end game? And
the thing is,
that's something that the team struggles with.
Rob
the problem
is doing an interview with 2 of the D4 devs.
What it's competing against, right?
About
like
the future of the game.
Life on an
like a general interview,
or you have like 10 multiplicative damage or something. Like it's just like either the
Where's Rob?
needs to be like absolutely crazy. Or that passive needs to be, I don't know, +1, or there needs to be like maybe there's a cap of only 1 passive or only 2 passives on the amulet. But I mean, you can, in theory, even have 4 passives on your amulet. So the RNG is just out of this world with this.
I totally hear you on that. Like, I think like to dive a little bit deeper into the philosophy, right? Like, it's good to have affixes that are clearly not for your build or clearly not good compared to some of their affixes, because it creates that sort of high and low, right? Like if the amulet was always good and it reliably was always good, I think you wouldn't have that dopamine of like the triple talent or the passives, right? So it's something that we're really careful about not trimming out too much. You know, if anything, we've heard a lot of feedback on this for like master.
Long live Diablo 2. I agree. I agree. I'm a D2 guy
it feels flat now, and it's like, yeah, that's what happens when we sort of streamline this and we bring in the highs and lows. So to give a real clear answer, I think like it's one of those things that we'll take away and look at it. I think like we do like the dopamine jackpot of multiple passives, but it's probably too much right now. It's probably too RNG. It's probably too 1 in a trillion, right? So I think that's something we can like slowly chip away and dial in, but it's not something that like sledgehammer and say, okay, all the talents are now, or the passives, sorry, are now like 100% weighted, and everyone has amulets and everyone's running around with a ton of passives.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, and then one more question about the itemization part about that is we have a lot of cool affixes now. Like I like that we have like attack speed on weapon and this kind of stuff. But sometimes, especially in my chat and to newer players, this can lead to a lot of confusion because we have this like 2 different attack speed caps. We have like category 1, category 2, and then they get attack speed on the weapon, but maybe it doesn't even give anything to them because they're already at the cap and stuff. Do you see like potential of like simplifying this or consolidating these like 2 caps to make itemization more clear and maybe have like just 1 cap, it stacks up to 200, like simplify it a little bit because the game doesn't tell you about this anywhere.
Yeah, absolutely. It's something we don't like, and we're working on making better. So nothing to share right now, but it's on our radar, and it's something that we are going to make better. As a philosophy thing, you know, I kind of hate caps also. So I think as a team, we don't really like caps. It's Diablo, right?
It's caps to the fun, man. I keep saying that.
I know, it does cap to the fun.
It's fun police.
So that is something that we're looking at for attack speed and things like that. We want to make sure that, you know, it is clear if we do have caps. Ideally, we don't have caps. And that's something we're always trying to balance around.
I like it. Awesome, man. Cool. Okay, then sanctification. Now, this is like a little bit of a controversial one, as I'm sure you guys have seen, like based on some of the forum talks and stuff.
Holy moly,
I really like sanctification as a great concept, but its introduction like almost kind of like the main season 11 mechanics. Like, I mean, that's at least how some people perceived it. It has like raised a lot of expectations about the system within the community, right? And well, I personally like mainly see it as like the final, you know.
Yeah, more slots would be interesting. A belt slot, what? Oh no! Oh no! Okay, I was rewound a little bit. Okay.
For the stream, but I hope it just works now.
We hate caps. right?
Apparently,
Yeah,
Rob's
tabs.
internet
Yeah,
went out.
Did you hear about
His
sanctification?
stream
Tabs on the
disconnected or something.
I'll start over at
But
sanctification.
I'm like
Yeah,
I'm like
go
3
ahead.
minutes
Yeah.
behind,
Okay,
so I had a
guys.
little
Sorry about that.
wiggle room to
Okay,
fast
so
forward
I'm
it.
going to start again on sanctification. Sorry
But yeah,
about that.
more
Rebecca, right? You might
inventory
need to
slots
refresh.
would be interesting,
So
like a belt or
sanctification baseline is a great
shoulders or
concept,
that kind of
but
thing. Yeah.
its introduction,
I'm
almost
with
like a main season 11 mechanic, seems to have raised certain expectations within some parts of the community. Like, while I personally see it mainly as like a final gamba step, as an option to fix like extra gear and make it even better. And many players, like, they don't see it as optional, but rather mandatory, to sanctify their gear. And then obviously they have like a chance of breaking it, like at the end of the progression, like curve of the item, right? So how would you respond to that perception? And what is the original like intent behind this like sanctification system?
Yeah, I'll start with the original intent, which is it totally is supposed to be this sort of final Gamba moment, right? Like you're going to get a bunch of swords that are sort of similar, and maybe you have like two GA, you have two swords that have two GAs. You're like, well, I really want potentially to get the other one to be better, right? So we like that you can slam it, and it potentially sometimes makes it better than the current one you have equipped. So we think that's like really healthy for the item game because it means you're always excited about getting new items to try this final step on it. So that's the intention. I think you're totally right. The putting it in the seasonal sort of front and center space, there's a lot of expectations that it's going to feel very powerful. It's always going to be really good because we've sort of created that precedent with seasonal powers and things like that. So we do think we sort of were a little bit too conservative. We were trying to tune it for more of like an eternal approach because we want something like this in the game. And that's why it was a little bit more conservative. And we've heard a lot of feedback that it doesn't feel as exciting as like a new seasonal mechanic. So that's something that we're looking at to make better and make it more exciting for season 11. I will say, like, as a dev insight, it is an interesting challenge for us in that we want to add to the game and enrich the game and make the game bigger overall. But we find when we add seasonal mechanics, there's like a lot of pressure for this to be really bombastic, really sexy, super power budget breaking, and just constantly adding those things over time is sort of what's gotten us into this like crazy bloat and power creep. You can think of mythics like this, right? Everyone's running around the same 3 to 4 mythics because they're really exciting and cool, and they broke the power budget, and it's like, let me keep all these. So it's a challenge for us to come out with something like this, then immediately integrate it into the game. So we're sort of taking an approach more of like, let's add something really cool and exciting. We're going to take big risks,
about this earlier.
and then we're going to take it back, and then we're going to sort of retool it and
I just
see
want
how
the game to
how can we integrate this idea if we
I
like
more
it
things
and
to do,
players
more
like it
systems to
back
engage
into the
with.
game that enriches the overall experience, because we don't want,
Make us work
for
for our
example,
power.
like to touch on chaos uniques, is like, okay, we added chaos uniques wholesale to the game, and 6 months from now, everyone is running the exact same 4 mythics, and everyone on the Spiritborn's running around with Rod of Kepaleke on their boots, and there's no build diversity, and the game has sort of narrowed in a lot of ways. So,
and to add one thing is, you kind of, I think you mentioned earlier before we had the cut, it's like this idea of there's some mixed reactions and mixed feedback a little bit, and I think part of that is different parts of the community have different expectations over what the systems and stuff can provide. For some people, their expectation is like, well, if I'll put in the time and I'll sort of semi-deterministically get to the place that I want to go, right? Whereas I think there's a subset, not comparing sizes, there's a different set of people who are like, no, I just want like any crazy shit to be able to happen, right? And I want it to be like hyper rare and super difficult to do. Not in terms of like a mechanical challenge in the game, but just as, oh, it's a thing that can happen. Holy shit, jaw dropped or something like that,
it's
right?
The dopamine.
Like is the
RNG.
example.
That's what made Diablo 2.
And whenever we add those kinds of things, like we were kind of doing with sanctification or even the amulet thing you were talking about, it's, oh, hey, that seems really out of reach. That RNG seems really out of reach, but it feels required. I think figuring out ways that we could position these things in the game where they do feel like, oh, that's a crazy cool thing that can happen, versus if I don't get this, I fail outright, right? Is just like a
I stopped even caring about trying to get passives.
But
even without them,
my hope is
you
that
can
we
still
can
do all the
eventually
content
kind of
as long
have
as you don't care
everyone
about
happy
pushing high pits and stuff.
The stuff that we're making fitting in and slotting into their experience in the right time and place. I think if we can do that, then
but not necessarily deterministically.
Like, oh yeah, crazy shit can happen, but it's a bonus. I don't actually need it to happen, right? But it's a really challenging balance.
Yeah, I see. It's just like, I think the community is very split on this. So I have a few follow-ups on this.
They really need way more crafting.
Going, like, would you consider
that's so much fun in PoE and in last epoch, crafting our gear to get what we want.
Edits, for example, letting us add sockets or letting us swap the aspect, because it happened to me. Like, I was running an aspect on the item and then I sanctified and I got the same aspect. like so would you be open to like look into like allowing some of these like minor modifications?
I think it's kind of cool that you
right now we
can't.
really like the idea that it's a final step. Like, I think it's important that you sort of like have this, moment where you're like, oh, should I do this, right? Because I think that adds to the anticipation of the moment and the drama of the moment. And I think the more we sort of allow, modifications post, it's sort of a slippery slope. It's like, well, why not enchanting also, and why not changing the temper? And I think like
They
it's
did say
certainly
you could
something we're
change the
willing
gems,
to get
though,
feedback on. We do
I
want to
think.
try it in its full form of like the full Gamba, I think there are some nice things though that we can potentially look at on like, yeah, if you have this aspect, maybe we won't roll that aspect because that literally is worthless, right? At the same time, like the high highs and low lows, right? Like if you're gonna do this on 3
I think
different
it's kind of
items
funny
and one
if
of
you can
them
get the
it
same
happens,
one.
it's like, well, yeah, go find another sword, right? But I think it's definitely something we'll take feedback on, right?
Yeah, I mean, I totally like that. Like that, it incentivizes me to pick up like all the 1 greater affix items because like good 1 greater affix item sanctified is better than a 3 greater affix with a bad sanctification. So it really adds like more like reasons to pick more items and to keep more items because they can possibly throughout modifying it be better. So I really like that part. One more thing about sanctification is the indestructible outcome. So yeah, well, obviously, like this was like I think kind of like the intention to have this as a nothing outcome. But would you consider like either because the RNG is pretty crazy? I don't know if you would consider removing it or at least like reworking it slightly so it's at least useful to something. Like maybe, and I saw this a lot in the community, make it for all characters. I remember from the Rex interview, you guys were like looking into more ways to support like having a second character and all this stuff. Maybe
remove the level requirement.
Reduce the level requirements of the item to 0 or something instead of making it indestructible. Like that was one idea that was out there.
Like that.
Is that on the table? Something like this?
Yeah, I mean, I love the level requirement. We love the alting. I think probably for season 11, that's probably not something we're going to be able to do. But to touch on like
feature?
the indestructible, yes, we are looking at essentially removing that outcome and giving you something as a bonus in return. And I think again, it's in the spirit
you said
of
removing
like
or moving. What do you say?
Remove it. Like indestructible won't be an outcome. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's a big W.
But
okay.
Yeah. I think it's something that, like, again,
I'm so happy.
I think the sort of
do I play other games? I do.
we're taking on it is like, okay, it is a seasonal power.
I play a lot of ARPGs.
We're going to go crazy with it. It's probably going to be very generous, right? I think if we ever bring
MMOs
it back as a
then.
Gamba step, I think it does need to be a lot more conservative,
horror
right?
games occasionally.
To hit that like sweet balance of it's a bonus and it's something I'm really only looking to do on duplicate items. I think the median outcome has to be pretty close to like the top end outcome, or it starts to feel mandatory.
Daisy,
I'll
I
give you an
haven't,
example.
but
I think tempering suffered from this, right? When tempering recipes was a 1 in 5, and one of those was double projectiles for the core skill you were using, it just felt infinitely bad to get the core skill you weren't using, and that median is just far and away so far removed from the top end outcome that I just don't think that's it creates a really unfun experience, right? So really
Delta Force or Tarkov, those aren't my kinds of games.
Like I think like the
I'm not
eternal
really
version, if we end up bringing it back, like if players really enjoy it, I think we're probably going to squish those bounds a little bit so the top end outcome isn't just wildly better than the median outcome. So we're going to remove the indestructible. The other thing we're also doing is looking at essentially tying more of the rarity of the item to the craziness, crazy bad outcomes. So as an example, probably going to make it so that rares sometimes have crazy bad outcomes, right? It's like you're going to get a bunch of rares. We're not super worried about that. But a mythic ancestral, probably not super cool if, your Shaco gets the GA'd CDR removed, right? So we're probably going to remove the bad outcomes
I don't know
for
what
like
new
the higher
beginning
quality
is.
items. But we
I have
still
played
want that
Arc. I hated
randomness on some of the lower quality items because the fantasy is really cool, right? Like, oh, I got this normal and legendary item. What if I could make it super fucking awesome? And now it's like an ancestral with like, I don't know, like a mythic aspect on it.
Hell yeah, that's really cool. I love these changes, man. That's great. I think that fixes like
interesting that he's talking about sanctifying rares. I wonder if he meant legendaries there.
We'll see.
I wonder if internally they just view legendaries as rares.
I want to cover here is toughness, attack power, and just like the stat changes that you guys did. So I was very happy because I'm coming from D3. You guys know, like I love D3, and I feel great to get the toughness like returning from Diablo 3. But in its current form in Diablo 4 on the PTR, it was a bit unclear to me and also to many others what the number actually means or what it actually represents. There's like no intuitive way
when
for
to start
you
season 11.
to know if you're
There's
like
not a
ready for
confirmed
certain
date,
tournament,
but based on the
before
in-game
you could
relic
always
berry end
know,
date
like, okay,
currently,
if I have
December
like 50 or
9th
70
is what they're
always,
shooting
or
for.
if I have like close to armor cap, I would be like, pretty
The
good on
Diablo
surviving. But
corner
now
bug
you
still-
basically have
corner
no idea
bug?
what does it mean to have 100,000 toughness? What does
I'm
it
not
mean
sure.
to have 500,000 toughness? So would you consider adding maybe some kind of like recommended toughness, maybe to like the world statue or something to help the player like gauge like how much they need for their survivability?
Yeah, that's something that we're looking into. It's been really good feedback on the toughness system. I think the suggested toughness is something we're looking to. It's a tricky balance, right? Because I think you could look at attack power and say, well, attack power isn't
Is a bad
actually
stat?
super clear. It's not exactly
That's
correct,
one of my next
right?
questions. I mean, if you want to
Oh,
go
is it? Okay, yeah.
Why would I bother with
So it's
D4
a
when
tricky balance to
QE
not
or less
enter into
debug
the attack
exists?
power
Tell D3 is
territory.
better.
We're trying to tell
I
you,
like
like,
playing a
well,
variety
really, you
of
just
games.
need X
I play
amount of
all of them
toughness and
when
you're
new
gonna be
seasons
fine,
come out.
because it's like, well,
It's just
like
I enjoy playing a
Farshawn or one of the
multitude of games.
Lair bosses. Maybe that's a cool fishing thing we could do.
Yes.
The Lair bosses, might
I play all of
one-shot
them.
you, and you're like, what the
I
fuck?
play
Blizzard?
D2,
Like you
D3,
said, I just
D4,
needed this
PoE 1,
toughness,
PoE
and,
2,
I
Last
got
Epoch,
slammed by,
Undecember, Grim
Duriel.
Dawn.
So it is something that
Torchlight.
we do want to just give a little bit more
No
feedback
Rest
to
for
the
the
player on
Wicked.
like what's going on with toughness. Really, a lot of the toughness
Titan Quest
changes
2.
were to from our
there's
perspective,
more?
like we don't like caps, right? And we felt like defensives were pretty shallow, and we wanted more sort of leg room and progression to the defenses
PoE
of
2
the
and
game.
D4 new seasons
We also
almost
just
at the same
wanted
time.
more
Not even
consistent
close. I mean,
EHP or
every
effective
now
health.
and then,
We felt like there were
Diablo's on a
just so
3-month
many
cycle.
different
PoE2 is on a
conditional
4-month
DRs
cycle.
that you had to stack once you
So
were sort
this
of
next
capped at
season,
your armor
they might be
instances,
close,
that
but I
it
think
just-
Diablo is going to
it
get
just
delayed.
created a lot of disparity between the classes, and
I
it
think
made it
season
really
10
hard
is
to
going to be a
scale
long
up monster
season,
damage. Like
and
we want to scale
season
monster
11 is
damage,
probably
and
going to
we
start in
want defenses
January.
to be part of the sort of deep
They're going to be a
end
Paladin
game,
class next
and
season.
something you
Next
have to pay
season, no.
attention to.
Next
So
expansion,
toughness
maybe.
was just
They
a
haven't announced it
nice
yet,
like, oh, we can kind of like make this a little bit more clear to the player because we're moving to a rating system.
Druid and
which
PoE2.
scales
I'm
much
excited
better
for the
in an
Druid. That
infinitely
should be in
scaling
December.
game.
Yeah, sounds good. Okay, so on the attack power then, as a displayed stat, this can be like pretty misleading right now, especially for new players, because they kind of like get somewhat debated. Like if you have damage percent on an amulet, or you have +2 to Envenom passive, the Envenom passive is conditional, so it doesn't show on attack power, and the additive damage, which is just in this large pool of all the other damage stuff, basically gives nothing. And
I have
always
not
get
heard
this
of that.
question, like, why am I not doing the damage that you do, or what are you doing with your attack power and stuff? So are there any plans to improve that, or how the attack power is calculated or communicated in the UI?
Yeah, I think so
We'll
we
have
are
fast Rob
changing
talks,
it
yeah.
to just be your weapon damage. So that will help with like, oh, I have a two-hander versus a sword and shield.
Passion, man.
So there's no more calculations that it's doing. It's just going to tell you what your weapon damage is, because we felt like we agree it was misleading, right? People were trying to make itemization choices around attack power when it was
They're changing
meaningless.
attack power?
So we decided, you know what, we're just going to make it weapon damage. Weapon damage is really important, right? So you always want higher weapon damage. That is for sure accurate, and that's the change that we're going to be.
I mean, unless you're playing something like Thorns, but that's very like niche. I mean, that's another like that's great. That sounds good. Like, 'cause it's just very hard to explain this.
Rax
over
gave
and
up
over
on
again,
default, but Rob
so
didn't.
very
Rax
cool to
didn't.
see, like,
He's
the
just
UI and
waiting
the
for it to
toolkits
get good again.
Represent that.
I mean,
That's
he did the
cool.
interview the other day, and he
I wanna
seems
talk about, like,
actually
with the
pretty
toughness
positive
changes
about
again. Like,
season
in
11 from what I
endgame
saw.
setups, especially in season 11, like certain builds, like with
Like,
Magic
Rax wants
Heart
the game
and,
to be really
like
good.
some of the Spiritborn evade builds with like a bunch of barrier. I think it was crazy for toughness. Like it
Haven't
felt
played
like
since
I was
since
only,
last
like,
year?
in the ultra endgame, like I'm very close to immortal again, even with having like very dangerous monsters. Do you plan on keeping like pit and
He's not
power
satisfied?
monster like, damage scaling like the same?
I
or
think
would you
he
consider,
definitely
at some
feels like
point,
it's moving in
having
the right direction,
higher
though, which
tiers,
is good.
like, also with like the boss HP reduction, like maybe make them more dangerous, like on the very high tier. Like I think in the beginning it was already like very tough, but towards the end I felt like I was outscaling the content like way easy with my toughness, because
Rax will be back for the
damage
expansion
doesn't
though,
keep
for sure.
scaling in those towers.
What's the top build in season 10?
Yeah, so
Honestly, I haven't played in a while
where we've
because
kind of chilled out on
I
the damage
kind of
scaling
finished
from
my
Torment
season
1 to
pretty
4.
quick
It
and then
felt
bounced to
like
other
pretty
games.
aggressive considering
So
you
I
weren't
don't
getting as much
know.
DR and EHP. So we've sort of chilled out the monster damage from Torment 1 to 4, and then we are planning on continuing to scale monster damage at some rate past Torment 4.
I feel like it should be
so
more
you're totally
RNG.
right.
Yeah,
At
I
100,
agree
we
with
stopped
that.
scaling monster
A
damage.
lot of
We are
people
looking to
like
scale
that
it by
Diablo
some
4 keeps
amount
moving to more
every tier after.
deterministic,
of course,
like
within the
going and
bounds of
killing
reason,
the
right? 'Cause, like, you
Uber
start to hit
bosses
a
to get your
diminishing return
mythic
on a lot of
items
your
and
EHP
go and do this
gain.
to get that item. And
So
I
that
like
is
the pure
something that
RNG
we're
like Diablo
dialing
2
in
was
currently, but
personally.
we do want to
Where can you
continue
watch
to
this
sort of
directly?
ask the player to
It's on
consider their
Rob2628's
defenses.
Twitch
We don't
page.
really like the idea that you're just running around immortal.
Yeah. Cool.
He's
And
probably on his YouTube also.
You guys said it in Rex's interview as well, that there is like some more potential like group synergy coming. And I think right now with this, how it works right now, like bringing like toughness, damage reduction buffs to the group felt kind of underappreciated. So I think with that change, that's also going to change a lot. And you maybe want, you know, some guy that heals you, that gives you toughness, that stuns the monsters like the rogue does, for example. So I think that's a really cool development. Like for the high tiers, like actually make it dangerous, make it more like exciting, and make it less of a damage sponge. So that's also another cool change.
We want like some of the
Rumors are
elites
great,
to be
but
like,
wider
oh, should I
variety would've
even
been nice
engage
before.
this elite, right? Like I know
I made a
assume we're
video
gonna talk
about
the
my
tower at
thoughts of
some
rune
point,
words
but
not too long
like
ago.
I think like
I want to see Diablo 2 style rune words in
what's
Diablo
really
4.
cool about that, right, is sometimes there's some cool strategy on like, you know what, I'm just not gonna
They'll probably add more
elite.
runes
Like
though
I'm gonna
with the
skip
next
this one because
expansion.
it's gonna take me too much time, or it's gonna wreck my day. When we think that kind of strategy in the really deep end game of Diablo is fun. So we want to maintain that.
Anything new? Every 3 months they add new stuff.
Move on to, I want to do the pit first and then the tower after that. So in the pits, you guys added Belial and with the eyes and stuff. I think it's a great addition baseline. Like they keep the pace up and they really help to prevent like these monster shortages, because sometimes in the live game, I mean, I guess many of you listening here know this, like sometimes you just run out of monsters to kill, and that never feels good in the pit or in any area.
This stream isn't actually with Rob. I'm just watching Rob's stream, so it's just me reading.
So by clicking the eyes, I think it's really cool on higher tiers and stuff that you can like get extra progress. But I heard a lot of frustration from controller players, but also for myself. Sometimes there's like, when you're doing like a high tower tier, like there's like some monsters like right on the eyes and you can't click them, and it's a whole fuss on a controller. It can be very frustrating. So would you consider like making them maybe like,
is it going to be a new Diablo game,
or like
eventually probably
them when you like walk near
but
them,
right now
like
Diablo 4 is doing multiple expansions,
yeah, by the way,
so they're working on that
I'm really
currently.
excited that we're being able to try some crazy stuff in the pit, and
yeah.
I know it starts kind of simple, right? But it's like, okay, now that we have this tower off on the side, we can start just doing kooky stuff here. And the monster shortage thing that you're talking about, like, is something we actually attacked very specifically in the tower. So in the future, the hope is to actually backport that stuff and just eliminate that issue entirely in the pit. For Belial Eyes specifically, the plan is that when Season 11 launches, if you get near them, they'll pop.
Yes.
So you won't actually have to do the hard
I hope the
interact.
next
You just, like,
expansion
physically
campaign
walk
is
near
longer as
them
well.
to some short radius, and then they'll just pop. So change forthcoming.
All right, cool. You guys are killing it, man. That sounds awesome. Like I'm even more excited for Season 11 now. So
yeah, there's going to be a lot of changes with Season 11.
The main reason like, for running pits
feedback
for me was like I farm my glyphs, I farm XP, and I have also a nice way to farm obols. I don't know if it was bugged on the PTR, but on the PTR, the XP significantly nerfed, obols completely removed. I don't know. Can you explain like the reasoning?
Yeah, I think it's going to be a paladin.
Like,
I really think it will
Maybe
be.
it was just a bug. I don't know. But I think they added a nice touch of variety and an extra convenience to run them, because we talked about this earlier. Like running high pits was already not rewarding at all.
Just them saying we're adding the paladin is going to sell so many
a bug.
copies of that expansion.
Okay, so XP is not going to change, and obols are going to stay.
Yes, yeah, it's a bug that the obols aren't dropping. We did some XP backend changes, and we're looking into why it's there's such a big disparity right now.
Okay, because it feels like XP is like half basically, and obols are going to come.
Tell them
back.
to save it.
Nice.
To save what?
Thinking, maybe they move it to the Undercity or something. But I think it's really cool
add the
to
monk?
have some extra.
I think it's a little too late for them to change that. The monk is too close to the Spiritborn. There's no way.
Okay, yeah, nice.
Not back to back with
and
the
then,
Spiritborn. Maybe down the road.
I always want to like talk a bit more about the XP, and the most efficient pit here that we farm right now is really focused only about speeds, right? From my perspective, if you want to be efficient, we had that word a lot in the beginning. If you want to be efficient, you always play a tier that is in no way challenging to your character, because the way that the reward scale in comparison to D3, for example, we had like 17% health, and then I think we had 7% XP.
Drop two characters, blow the gaming community up.
20% health, and then 1% less than
it's
1%
possible.
XP scaling. So it always feels like you only
love D4, but it does get boring after a few weeks. Yeah,
to be efficient, right?
I would love
you can
to
want
to play the
but
seasons
it always
longer.
ends up completely
but
inefficient.
I get burnt out after I've done all the content.
To change that, and what's like the future direction?
I would love to have more things to go for, to grind for, to build our character and make them more powerful. I agree.
Yeah, I think this is sort of like endemic to, I would say, the game right now, which is
not very beginner friendly.
Quickly
Why do you feel like that? I
feel
like it's pretty easy to pick
blasting,
up and play.
let's just say Torment 3.
That's why I like PoE 2.
But
Yeah,
Torment
true.
4 is just so much harder that you can't even go into Torment 4, and nothing in Torment 3 challenges you. And we don't like that scenario where you don't feel like you have some place to push into and have like a more sort of rewarding and difficult experience.
Yeah.
So that's like one thing we don't really like about the current how the Torments are tuned, is that it's to sort of feast or famine. So that is something we're looking into. We want to add some more Torments to sort of smooth out that journey.
I don't know if that's
so we
the
think
play.
it feels much better when you feel like you have a place to fall back
Maybe
to.
if they add more Torments, but don't
blast and
increase
farm. We love that.
the
We
gear
don't want to like take that away or make that feel like it's an ineffective way to play the game. At the same time, we don't like that there isn't like that next sort of mountain to climb where you can challenge yourself and play in a difficulty where you can actually sort of get by.
Do you play with mouse and keyboard or controller?
So that's something we're tackling, and that will carry over into the pit, right? Because the pit is very much tied to the Torment tiers. So nothing for season 11, I think, in terms of huge swings, but it is something that we are trying to make better and we want to make better for the future.
I haven't really played on controller much. Cool. On mouse and keyboard, it's pretty easy.
Rewarded for more challenge. Sorry, go ahead.
Sorry, I was just going to call him to say the thing. So, kind of like intent for like how we view these kind of peaks in the game is we've kind of often referred to this internally as a series of summits, right? I climb to the top of this mountain, and then from there I can see all these other places I can go, and all these other challenges and places I can journey to and challenge myself to go climb, right? But when the game just kind of feels like it's just this nice perfectly flat thing, that's what it kind of feels like, right? It's flat. So we really want to make these high points that you can push yourself to, and then you can see all these other things that you can challenge yourself to do in terms of a journey.
Cool. Okay, nice. And then the last thing about the pits, and this also translates into the tower. Like there is quite some disparity in some of the maps, right? You have this like open desert, like the pit map, and then you have sometimes these like narrow spots where you run into dead ends and stuff. And this can just lead to like a lot of frustration and backtracking issues we talked about earlier. So also in that direction, like, I mean, maybe you adding more monsters, like you talked about that earlier already, but are there also like updates planned for like the map generation and how those works to like streamline and make this like a little more fair and less fishy? Because fishing was a big thing in D3, and to some degree, like if you want to get on the leaderboards, I think you will have to fish for the maps. And any improvements we can expect in this direction?
So I think Tower is it's not perfect. We're not pretending it is. We've already found a bunch of bugs from people posting screenshots and stuff everywhere of Tower maps. So thank you for that. Keep going. We will keep iterating and fixing those things up. But you can kind of look at the difference in generation rule sets between Pit and Tower as an indication of places that the Pit can go. And again, I mentioned this in a previous stream, like we've rebuilt the back end like completely to be able to be smarter with some of this stuff. So I'm just going to
rapid fire some things. Zero reason to be in the open world. Be cool if there was some event.
It's going to do,
which is funny because now the
proper, right? So
the Lilith statues don't even matter in the seasonal realm. Like you don't need to do them anymore.
Right. You don't actually ever go back. You don't go down screen. So with our isometric
they definitely do need
it's actually
to bring
much harder, even if it's like a little bit to play
world.
down screen of where your character is. So generally speaking, you're going up toward the left or right corner, or in some cases, kind of just like straight up. The dead ends, there's not really dead ends south of you. There are some cases where there are very minor,
sorry, I missed that. Yeah, we're not going to start with a bunch of skill points anymore. We'll start with one that we get from the season journey
before
page.
You actually walk too deeply.
And now we have to earn them through the season journey, which I personally like that a lot.
When season 11 launches proper is to make sure that the highest value
because it makes it feel like a game again, not just like instantly leveling.
So there's not going to be elites and things like that,
super fast
tucked away in a closet 5 miles off screen or whatever. Everything's going to be on this kind of main path. So there's going to be some navigation tests, right?
Any vids on that?
Being able to know that I'm actually headed the wrong way and things like that. And that's just part of the overall mastery of Diablo 4. I know all the tile sets. I know generally how they roll.
So my VOD is probably out there.
That makes me better than the person.
If you wanted to look on YouTube at my past live streams, you can look up my PTR.
That's what the tile does. I know, so I'm better.
It's the map awareness.
Yes. Altar is so useless. They're actually making it super useful in season 11.
It's not just my gear.
But in season 10, it's still useless.
Knowledge of the game at such a deep fundamental level that I can look into the things like I know where the algorithm is going, right? It's a learnable thing to some degree for some of our best players.
In season 11, they're redoing a bunch of the mythic uniques and making them way better.
We're really excited to potentially take it back to the pit, but when it gets there, this consistency is not the primary goal. right? The benefits of everything we're doing right now shaves off all the worst cases. There is no long ass tunnel going to the left, but I was actually supposed to go right. Like that just doesn't actually happen in the tower in the same way that it happens in the pit. So yeah, we're going to take those things away, but we're actually open to doing some crazier stuff, more open layouts in some cases.
Yes.
Maybe some more densely packed ones than usual. And there are some cases where tile sets have disparities that are kind of baked into the art, right? Like art's beautiful, but it's like, well, caves are caves, right? And forests are forests, and there's not really a difference. So we're also removing some of the kind of the more narrow, tunnely stuff when Season 11 launches, and we're kind of taking those offline for a while until we can figure out a solution to reintroduce them. But again, that's tower, and pit can go as varied as we want. We can have dungeons that are significantly longer, significantly shorter, wider, crazy shapes and stuff like that. But no matter what we do in the pit, the intention is not to say like, ha, we put the exit behind you and there's 7 miles in front of you. Isn't that variety? It's like, no, that's not variety. That's just dumb. So eventually we'll shave off all those, variety that's just bad, right? Strictly bad in all cases. But there will be a bit more wider range of possibilities in the pit eventually. And tower is going to be this narrow, but tower we're looking at as kind of the foundation that we're going to build the pit off of in the future.
Hell yeah. Well, that sounds cool.
Yeah, and to give an example that I love that we talk about, Zavin and I, is like, it's probably not cool if 1 in 10 runs, like I'll use D3 as an example, like jail, jail's the best fucking, layout. It's amazing. It's probably not cool if, the tower 1 in 10 rolls jail, because now you're just fishing for jail. But we're super cool with that in the pit, right? Like we actually think that's awesome. If sometimes you run the pit and you get this insane clear, like we actually think that's really fun. So that's why it's like really cool that we can branch them, because we want the pit to be a little bit more varied, a little bit more wacky, and it lets us do crazy shit like all goblins and things like that, right? And it's not going to hurt
Goblin
the competitive
pit
integrity that everyone's looking for out of the tower.
Yeah, it sounds like them adding the tower is going to make the pit more fun, which is interesting.
Sorry, I've seen a lot of like commentary. It's like, oh, the tower is so close to the pit. It's like, yeah, technically true. My perspective, pit's too close to the tower. The pit's the thing that really needs to go to Crazy Town.
Yes,
and,
I like that.
I think one of the reasons we're seeing that feedback is, well, that's because the pit is like this very strictly, rule set guided thing. And obviously that's great for a competitive mode. And so tower is going to be ideally the best version of that we can make, better than what the pit can provide. And once we have that, pit can just run. It can just do whatever the hell it wants.
So on that note, because I also heard that a lot, I feel what would
gotta go. All right, take it easy.
Change how people like see it in their mind is like, it starts with how you open it. I feel like right now you open it, like opening it at the same spot. Just in their minds, it's the same thing. So I would like, I don't know if you guys consider like giving it like a stronger identity.
What up,
like
well, how you
like
doing?
A big physical, beautiful asset like a tower structure or something in the city. I think there's a lot of like dead space all around with like a unique visual asset, like maybe even like a short quest line or something to introduce like the tower as something like completely separate from the pit. Because I feel like it just starts right there with how you open it, and that's why it's the same.
At home sick.
So many
Hope you feel better
right now.
Yeah, the decision to kind of put them together was honestly kind of out of convenience. I know you mentioned there's a lot of dead space, but one of the issues that we've got is we have a lot of towns, we have a lot of capitals, and not everything is everywhere. And the more objects there are to add, the more difficult it becomes to start actually
new expansion announcement. That's probably coming next month to Game Awards. That's my guess.
Because these things are so integrated in terms of their underlying stuff, it just made sense.
This is just an interview about.
That being said,
just the future of the game.
Long-term plan is
kind of
there is going to be some experiential differences between the two that are more pronounced. Things like the reward structure is going to be wildly different in the tower. There's going to be, eventually we'll have some more flavorful stuff, not mechanical stuff, just like fun stuff that can happen in the tower.
Sell all button.
So over time, they will diverge a bit, but keeping them the obelisk just lets us make this a very portable thing. Because something else that we're looking at is saying, well, what can we do to try to make it that you're not just like trapped in Karagar forever? Right, like maybe you can go somewhere else.
It's Karagar, not Saragar. I always
wonder. Kind of condensing the number of interaction points lets us be more flexible about that in the future.
Yeah, I mean, it's cool that we can like test all the tower stuff like right now. It's just like, so many people, they're gonna like see this as the first time, and that's how they're gonna like feel about it, right? Like if they see it for the first time, and right now, the way I understand it, there's not gonna be any rewards for the tower when it launches in when the beta of the tower launches in season 11. And I think one of the biggest problems is also there's not gonna be, as far as I understand, there's not gonna be an inspect feature. And I think this is like also going to be a big frustrating point for a lot of players. So can you like maybe share a little bit if this is this a feature
there would be.
that is prioritized like early post the launch, or also like when do you guys think roughly like these rewards are going to come in? Because like for like a total casual player that doesn't really care much about the leaderboard, like he just hears about this like new tower end game, and then like why would he go do it, you know?
Yeah, I'm gonna just answer this in reverse order, but I'm gonna say everything I'm gonna talk about is not in season 11.
Yes.
It is long-term plans. Some are shorter than others, right? But it's something that we know we're gonna be developing Tower for a while. It's not gonna happen in one seasonal cycle. So in terms of inspect, so the game has a profile. You can set that profile to private. I'm saying this because separate to that, the intention is you can view builds on the tower. So your profile setting private has no bearing on people's ability to see the build that you ran. So long term, no secret builds on the leaderboard. Everyone can look at it. No hiding. You're gonna operate in daylight, right? Everyone can see what you did.
That's good.
Right, and we think this is really important to kind of preserve some of the integrity of the tower. But also just I think something that makes Diablo really special is this constant like communication about what's the right thing and being able to see what other people do and things like that. And we don't want to erode that with the tower, right? We actually want to celebrate it. We want to put a big spotlight on it, like holy shit, that guy got first. What did he do, right? And then can I do the same thing better? Maybe I see the build and I just don't know how to do it. What is he actually executing in terms of commands? What's his skill and things like that? And like I said, there's a whole other information layer that we are anticipating and expecting and building towards, where it's like, well, you can copy my build, but I know literally every square inch of the game better than you. So it doesn't really matter if you copy my build. So in terms of skill expression, we're just looking at it as one more facet, but not something that we have to like protect. So build viewer. Other thing you mentioned is rewards. So I'm going to talk about this conceptually as two things. One is tower rewards and what is leaderboard rewards. So tower rewards are not aimed at people in terms of their competition with other people. It's more about your competition with yourself. So the idea is, and right now we're thinking this is like a, it'll be reset, right? So a new season starts eventually when this is, and we'll clear the board. Is to create kind of a pseudo reputation system for the tower exclusively, that the reward rank is tied to your ability to clear certain difficulty tiers. So as an example, there's a reward at tier 1 completion, and there's a reward at 5, and then 10, and goes all the way to 150. And this would be stuffed with functional rewards, gear, currencies, and things like that, but also transmogs in some cases. So this is like the really big, I don't care about the social aspect. I don't care about being number one. I just want a really good way to push myself and incentivize myself to push further and further.
That gives me a reason to care about the pit,
up the difficulty tiers.
The tower.
And that's something that's going to be exclusive for the tower rewards, right? That's tower. Leaderboard rewards. So we've talked kind of about this like cyclical approach where every, n amount of time we reset the leaderboard and then people have to go and vie for first place again. So we're still talking about what that duration is going to be. There is no like final call. There's probably going to be mention about like a 1 week cycle or a 2 week cycle or whatever. We're going to listen to the community. If people have thoughts, please post them. Please talk about it. We read all this stuff. But whenever a cycle ends, the idea is that we look at the top some amount of people. I'm saying some amount because, it's the top 10, top 100, top 1,000, I don't know, across all the leaderboards, right? All the class leaderboards, 2-player, 3-player, 4-player, and then a hardcore version of all of those, right? Top placements across those boards. The idea is we would also give some functional rewards, right? So there's gear, currencies, things like that. But there's 2 new things that we want to really develop. And these are the things that are, again, going to take a while. So rewards, this is why they're not immediately available, right? Because we want to make sure Tower is super high integrity space before we start giving out some prestige stuff. So one is prestige titles. The idea being that your character earns the right to have this title, and there's some special formatting and visuals on that, and it looks different than all the other titles in the game, right? And it belongs to that guy.
They did say they're doing solo self-found.
Not your account, right? Not your season. You can't just equip it on a level 1 or anything like that. It belongs to that guy. So holy shit, that guy got first place on the Barb leaderboard or something like that, right?
Yeah, that's cool. I really like the idea with the milestones that you mentioned, like having like certain milestones for certain, like, I don't know, if you every 10 or every 5 tiers or something that you personally beat, you get a milestone reward. That's going to be cool. And this inspect feature, I think, is also so important to help shine light on, like, if there is like some potential bugs that are going to go on. Because with the introduction of leaderboards, people have, at least some people have some incentive to, like, unfortunately, like, hide these bugs or not share them or something, right? And so if you have an inspect function, like, you can definitely figure this out much faster if potentially there's a bug going on or something like that.
The last kind of big thing that we're talking about doing right now is something we're calling Halos, which is an exclusive cosmetic that your character can equip. Again, it belongs to the character, right? You can't just make a level 1 and say like, oh yeah, he did the thing. It's like, no, that guy did it. And again, this is a very exclusive list of people are going to be able to do this. It's the top placer placements from across the community. So we're looking for ways for people to celebrate it, to have bragging rights. And the reason why we don't have all these rewards in place right now is like, for any of that to make sense or matter, everything actually has to be functional. It has to actually be balanced, right? It has to be, let's say, it has to be perceived as fair by the community. It has to be accepted by the community. So we want to make sure we do that before we just start handing out candy. Right?
Real quick, I'm going to pause here because I can. I'm so glad Twitch added that. During Rex's interview on Tuesday, they talked about what's stopping people from using RMT sites, like just buying gear with real money and just instant being number 1 on the leaderboards. And I always felt like if you're a good player with really good gear, you're going to do well. But if you buy all your gear and have the best gear, but you're not that good, you're still not going to do very good on the leaderboards, right? Like, it'll help you, but you're not going to get number 1 if you don't know what you're doing. So I feel like it's probably not as much of an issue as Rax was making it out to be, but we'll see.
Right. So we're committed to doing this. It's going to happen. All eyes right now are on making sure Tower is a competitive place, that it has leaderboard integrity and things like that. You know, we've talked about SSF and things like that potentially coming to help strengthen those things, and that would be its own section, right? So imagine the person who did Barb SSF potentially in the future, and they've got a Halo. It's like, oh shit, that guy did that.
Hardcore Barb SSF.
Hardcore Barb SSF. Yeah. Colin knows I play hard, so he's keeping me honest.
Yeah, that sounds like very, very fun. And like, also, like, if you're just in the city and some people can see it, oh, this guy has the I don't know, the rank 1 Giga Wings or something, like, whatever, right? And that's gonna be pretty cool. And one last thing to touch on that, and maybe you already considered this or something to maybe consider. In D3, I think it was great with how you had this like pop-up. Like, there was like the dopamine hit that Rux was talking about 2 days ago as well. Like, when you actually did the rank 1 or when you did a rank, there would be like a broadcast to your like entire friend list. You would see like a nice pop-up, like, I don't know, you did rank 1, this is your final time, and this kind of things. Like, that was also completely missing from this like a PTR version. So are there like these UI updates, like that's also like planned, I guess?
Yeah, absolutely. What we have right now is good. It's functional. It's just to like do a simple layer of communication for this to not feel like nothing happened. But the plan is eventually to embellish a lot more, to give more information, to provide information about your rank, potentially where you sit in relation to other people and things like that across the leaderboard. Yeah, we've got big plans for the communication layer of this as well.
Cool. All right. So the next big last topic I have on the season 11 stuff is like class balance and how you guys approach it. So
OMG, it's Rob. He's stuck with the devs.
The power level has been extremely high with some crazy power creep. And now in season 11, like that seems to go like a bit more down to earth, right? We don't necessarily need builds to hit for like 2 billion
appreciate it
and all this stuff. However, there is a valid concern I feel in the community about the class balance. Like, right now we have so many like builds in S tier. I think in my tier list we have like 16, 17 like S tier builds that are all like crazy good in season 10. And that does seem to narrow down, at least based on the PTR observings, that does seem to narrow down quite a bit with season 11, and power level obviously goes down. So how does the team like evaluate this like class balance, and what is it balanced around? Is there maybe like a certain tower or pit level that you guys think a build should be able to reach? And if yes, how high would that be, or how do you approach this entire like class balance?
Yeah, I think I can help answer this. So one change that we are making from the PTR is we're reducing the pit tier scaling, so that generally that's going to give, I don't know, 5 to 10 tiers to all builds, and we think that's going to push them much more into like the deeper pits, right? We are trying to like just holistically, not just in season 11, look at all the places where we feel like we're just giving out power for power's sake and it's bloating the overall system. We sort of have two categories of power. One is, we want there to be chunky bonuses that you can look for, right? Like legendaries, uniques, and we think those are really fun and cool. And those are always multiplicative, obviously. I think the places where we're not super convinced that it's adding a ton of coolness and variety to the game are like, you could look at the skill tree passives, for example. It's like, do
Rob will actually
all
change their mind in terms of making
15
progress
sources
in
of
the game.
multiplicative damage need to be there?
I
think that's something we're talking about.
But I think they're
Paragon
already
glyphs are also
making
sort of a
progress
place for that,
in the
right?
game.
It's like debatable. Like, is it cool to have
Is it
this big
slower than we
multiplier on
want
the
it?
Paragon
Yes.
glyph? It's like, yeah,
but
like
I feel like the game is
incentivizes you to
continually
push,
improved since
in
launch.
the pit. But I think there's also something to be said about aggregating a bunch of statistics to slowly sort of make your character stronger. And I think right now we sort of emphasize too much on like the multiplicative bonuses. So, sorry, that was a long answer to my question. So we are looking at reducing the pit tier scaling. As far as like what do we consider viable, I think like generally what we've been thinking about is like we've noticed that a lot of players sort of anchor around like maxing out their glyphs, and I think we've been pushing a little bit closer to like, okay, S tier means that everyone can sort of max out their glyphs in the pit. So that's why we're giving sort of everyone 5 to 10 pit tiers. We're probably not going to land in a place where everyone's doing 100 in season 11, but we're looking for like 80, 85, and we kind of want at the top end. That's sort of where players are going to be landing.
But I think I liked both
there might
Witchcraft
be some crazy stuff that people
for
pick
season
up,
7,
or crazy things that sort of push past that. But we think generally that's like a pretty
Chaos
healthy
season
balance
more,
to be in.
I
But
think.
it's always sort of a sliding scale depending on what the community feels like an important milestone.
The Witch
for
one
the
was
game
my favorite though, easily.
To give a maybe a
Season of Blood was really
more
good,
broad
for
answer
sure.
is, I think we sort of want to architect the game in a way where you have satisfying endpoints where you're like, okay, I did this thing, like to go back to what Zavin was saying on the summits, like I've scaled this summit, I've like maxed out a glyph, or I've beat this capstone, I'm feeling really good. Do I want to keep going? And I think like that's the question we like when the players ask themselves is like, should I keep going, or do I want to make a new character, or do I just want to take a break for this season and come back refreshed for another exciting season in 3 months? So that's sort of our thought process when it comes to the overall class balance of the game.
Maybe someday. I appreciate that.
So the tower and pits, they're going down like 5 to 10 tiers. But Torment 4 difficulty, I mean, I like this. That stays roughly the same as it was on the PTR, right?
Roughly the same. Yeah.
Okay, nice. Okay, the next one might be...
And
go ahead.
monster damage is a little bit lower in Torment 4, I think.
But it scales up higher in higher tiers of tower and pits. Yep. Okay. I think that all sounds really good to me. Many players were kind of upset about the removal of the perma teleport. Like this is like a big discussion point that was on the forums also in my
adding
stream.
A bunch of cooldown reduction to other slots. Totally that should take care of that, right?
Sorg in speed farming has been overperforming like crazy compared to all the other classes. Like it was like night and day difference. However, I would have always loved to see, more buffs to slow classes, like the necromancers, like the druids. For example, maybe we talked about the caps earlier. We are a removal of the movement speed cap of the 200%. So you think there's any chance, or maybe there's some technical limitations to it if you want to talk about
What up, Michael? How you doing?
This kind of approach.
Have I ever played with Rob before? A couple times.
Speed cap similar to how we had it in D3.
We played together in the beta
or maybe
of Diablo
like
4 a little
300
bit.
or 400%.
It was me, Rob, and Echo
not,
Hack.
like, take the fun away from the songs,
and I also played with him a little bit in Diablo 2.
Also feel like more fun in that direction.
How's my health? My health is good, I think.
Yeah, so I'll touch on the Sork teleport one real quick because I'm not sure if we've talked about it recently, but we are looking to reintroduce some of that power back into the Oculus. So if you have the unique for your teleport, we think it's a good compromise.
What's
it's like, okay,
it's not free.
If you want to do this crazy teleport thing, then you should have the unique, and you should probably have to cast teleport on your bar.
Then they go to the
stuff
eye
on
doctor.
frame
Just
was a little bit crazy.
I was going
we've also
to,
looked at some of the other, I'm sorry, Rob, classes like Leap, right? Because we felt like it was just blowing the Sork teleport.
I just need to get my glasses fixed.
We've tried to bring those two more within harmony there.
Okay.
I think as far as like the movement speed caps, I think it's a symptom of, when you're to go back to that like idea
a new class is coming next year with the expansion, but they haven't announced it yet.
Right now revolves around speed because you hit a point where the only way to become more efficient is to go faster.
We're worried about me.
I think that's what's putting a lot of pressure on having to go extremely like blazing fast. Like we're like it feels
It's gonna
like,
be
you
the
know, 2
paladin,
to 3
right?
times faster than like Diablo
Monk,
3 even,
please.
for example. And we
I
think
would
that
love the
that's
monk.
more of a
Monk is
problem
my
on
favorite
like the
class by far in
difficulty,
Diablo 3,
not
but it's just too
scaling
close to the
appropriately
Spiritborn
with
to
the
do those
rewards,
two
right?
back
Like
to
you can
back. I
imagine
just
if
don't
there were
see it.
more sort of
I think
torment
there's like
tiers
a
and things like
1%
that,
chance.
it'd be more on like, well, how do I actually kill monsters effectively? But in the current state, you're overkilling monsters by like 10 to 20 times, even sometimes like 50 times, and the only way to become more efficient is to move faster. So to sort of put a period on what I'm saying, like we kind of want to ensure that monsters and difficulty and rewards are
Spiritborn L?
scaling so that the
I thought the
only way to
Spiritborn
be
was
more
super
efficient
fun.
isn't just to move, you know, 50 screens a second. If
Gave
that
up on
makes
this game? A
sense.
lot of people did. They're working
Yeah,
hard on trying
it
to make
does.
it better.
I always
And there's a
like
new
speed
expansion
and,
coming next year. I would at least keep your
I
eyes
don't know.
out.
I still like
Totally.
Some of the
Everyone loves
things I've
speed, yeah.
seen,
everyone
they're
loves speed, and,
kind of
like,
cooking.
It just felt so good in D3, you know, like I could be on my
On
sprint to win
paper.
Bob, and I could
We'll
move
see how it
around at
actually is when the game
500%
goes
movement speed,
live,
or
but
on my
I'm
God,
hoping
Demon
it's
Hunter,
good.
Gears of Dreadland, 600% movement speed. I just spin around. It felt so smooth, and I'm often missing that, you know, in Diablo 4
Okay,
right now. But
it's super fair.
yeah.
Expansion or
Quick time
DLC?
check.
Same
So
thing.
We have like about 5 more minutes. I have like 2 more questions about
These more
class balance,
endgame,
and then
yeah.
some rapid fire
They
questions
are adding the
about, like,
tower,
what we might see
but
in the
that's
longer
not enough.
future. Does that sound good?
But
Are you
them
guys,
adding the
good
tower
with
is
that?
going to make the pit more interesting.
Sounds
But
good to
I think
me.
with the expansion
All
we'll
right.
get more.
On the PTR, in terms of like class balance and stuff, there was
Wait,
a
hold
lot
on,
of
hold on,
hype.
hold on. I mean, having people pay for a game, then pay another $60 to play the full game. So the original game was 60 or 70, I don't remember, but the expansion was only 40, and it goes on sale all the time. But that's pretty standard for Blizzard games with expansions. That's how they've always done it. They always will. Season 11 D4 killer? Season 11 is going to be great. It's going to be great. You just wait and see. They're going to turn it around. I have faith. I have faith.
And a lot
That's
of
why they did the PTR so early, is because they knew they were making big changes. They wanted to get a lot of feedback so that they could change based around the feedback. I think it's going to be drastically different than it was in the PTR.
It's like about the mythic rework from the Melted Heart of Sea.
It's going to be a Marauder? You mean Wanderer? That was Pez Radar just trolling. Wanderer was just like, we're all Wanderers. Everybody in Sanctuary is a Wanderer.
Players,
that's not a
love
real
to see,
thing.
like iconic build returns. Like I personally really love
D3
to
was fun.
play
You
the
don't care what
Hoda
anyone
Whirlwind
says.
Barb,
All
like
you
this
need was
Barb
one
we
or two
played
more
in
endgame
the
activities
popular
other than
season 2. I
rifts.
really had a blast with this.
I mean, they had
and obviously there's
Portal
been a lot
or
of
Visions of
discussions about, like,
Enmity,
potentially like
Enmity,
capping all of
and
this.
they
We
had
talked a lot about caps.
they had
I
like
don't
3 or
them
4 different
personally.
things.
So I'm not a fan of these hard
Yeah,
caps.
no, it's not
but,
going to be the Wanderer.
Dill's
That was
build,
just
especially
him
Hoda Barb,
trolling.
that was clearly overperforming. So what's your approach?
He was just
to
having
these? It was
fun.
not only on the Barb, right? We also had a Druid that was uncapped, a Necromancer that was uncapped. So how do you plan on like balancing these
fake,
outliers
yes.
without, you know, kind of limiting the creativity and uniqueness of
Yeah,
these,
he was
like,
just joking
you know,
around.
high resource, like main stat stacker kind of.
They're not going to announce a class for the expansion in some random
I think
dude's
this
Twitch
is
streams.
very similar to,
It's just not going to happen.
you know, on the PTR and in seasons, we want to try insane things, right? And like part of what makes a really insane Diablo sometimes is like staring into the abyss on like, oh god, if we mess up the tuning, the entire game breaks.
Yeah,
right?
it's hard to
the players
convey
love that,
sarcasm,
right? Like they're super
through
eager
a
to see
chat
us try
message,
and
but
break the game, and they're also very eager to break the game. So, you know, that's why we're trying these types of things. The Mythic Unique, you know, why not do something crazy? We did find in the PTR that it was causing some insane problems, and it also just didn't feel good to see everything that expended all resource have these caps baked in. It felt like it was really
D4 is
removing a lot
depressing
of
now?
the creativity and fun of the game, right? Like even
I feel like, generally speaking, they've continually made a lot of decisions that made the game better, with some decisions that made the game worse. But I do feel like they are actively trying to make it better, and some of the things that I've heard about the next expansion have me hopeful. Doesn't mean they're going to nail it, but the things that they're trying to do that they've told us about privately, so I can't talk about them specifically, make me feel like they're at least working in the right direction. I hope they land it. Fingers crossed.
if it was
Has the game improved since Spiritborn DLC? Completed story and stopped playing after? Well, if you completed the story and stopped playing after, you didn't even experience like a good chunk of the DLC, because there was like, I mean, they do new seasonal stuff every 3 months, and there's tons of stuff happening all the time.
perfectly balanced, it just didn't feel good. So we are going to be changing the amulet to keep the spirit of it, which is we want there to be sort of like this primary resource mana shield type of mythic unique. We think that's like a cool thing to have,
Melted Heart
but
of
it's going to be
Selling?
much more tame. I think it's like doubling your resource, but then the conversion from damage to resource is much higher. So you're still as tanky as you were on BTR. We're just not creating several thousand primary resource. And we've also removed all the caps that were talking to resource as part of that change.
Thank you.
Yeah, so everything's uncapped again.
Yeah, and then you can like keep scaling it into the end game. I really love the approach there, where you like it starts out very slow, like a bit like on the weaker side, like you just equipped it. It's not like you're an instant god instantly, and you have like very nice ways of scaling this with your character all the way into the end game. Love it.
Totally.
Seasonal stuff is just a few hours of questing for rep, then back to pits and infernal hordes. If that's what you want it to be. I mean, there's a bunch of different activities to do. There's like 5 different things, 6 different things in the end game that you can do. That's part of it.
That was our approach on that.
Cool. Last question for class balance is about snapshotting. This has been like a major topic for a long time already.
Why do we need like
especially
8 types
with,
of gear?
Like certain
8
like
types
buff
of gear?
dependent
What do you mean?
builds, like the Cataclysm setup, like with
I'm so confused right now.
re-emerged on the PTR, and you have to like snapshot the overpower and the passives and do like a very specific skill rotation. I always feel like many players like dislike this entire playstyle where it like fully revolves around the snapshotting LCD like ZDPS. So in the past it was like kind of like the stance that this is intended on the Cataclysm dude, if I understood this right. So how do you approach like balancing like these kind of interactions, keeping them interesting, but without making this like snapshotting like feel mandatory?
Yeah, that's a great question. Like, as a team, we really don't like the snapshotting of like swapping out gear, then
like
casting something.
Gray, green,
we also don't like
green,
when the snapshotting revolves around like luck of the draw.
In Diablo
like overpower
4?
feels like this, right? It's like if I didn't overpower this run, then the run is
There's
fucked.
white items, blue items that are irrelevant
so
after level 10.
We're looking at mechanics that are obviously causing a lot of these snapshotting problems. Like I think concealment, for example, had this on the rogue where you conceal to get guaranteed crit and vulnerable, and then you would obviously snapshot that on your Dancing Knives, and we don't like that kind of thing. So we're moving more towards like duration buffs and things like that, because we don't like encouraging this kind of playstyle. As far as like our main
game
culprit,
is exactly the same.
It feels like overpower is like sort of the main source of a lot of these really terrible snapshotting circumstances, because it is so luck based. I will say one thing we do like though, and it's sort of like counter to what I just said, is I think if we say, your next Cataclysm is going to do all these crazy things. We like that the entire cast of Cataclysm is going to do these
Console's
crazy
got keyboard and mouse now?
What
Yeah,
we
I'm glad they added that.
Is that when you cast Cataclysm, there's a chance that it's going to overpower that then makes it ridiculous, right? And we don't like that part of it. So, we don't like snapshotting. We're looking at some of the more egregious mechanics that cause this really feel bad RNG snapshotting that we don't like.
Okay, cool. All right, there will be like a rapid fire section here for the end. So I'm just like, answer what you can answer, guys, like however you want to answer it. This is this is also about like a more like, long-term future. So any chance we see a popular chaos powers return, like maybe as an aspect or similar what you did in the past, such as like the savagery power, for example, on the druid, like that really enabled like the raven build and made it like pretty crazy.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we're always looking to bring back some of the different mechanics in a way that like enriches the build diversity. So it's definitely not off the table.
Okay, cool. And any chances for the like activity Chaos Rifts to come in like some form back? I think there was like a really fan favorite mechanic, like just having the Chaos Rifts pop up, and people love doing them.
Chaos Rift should be core.
Yeah, I mean, again, like it's something that like players really loved, and we're gonna look for ways to bring back the things that players loved into the game. We've done this with like Season 2, where we learned about like Blood Harvest and things like that, and we merged it into Helltide. So yeah, it's definitely something that we are looking into and wanting to bring back in some shape or form.
And last in that direction is...
Go ahead. Big success has been kind of taking it offline, so that when we do put it into the game, we put it into the game in a way that is responsible and actually adds instead of overshadows everything else, right? So it just lets the team have kind of a cycle. And eventually, if stuff is really cool, we want to keep it too. We just have to make sure that it actually fits in properly to the game. Because we also have, Season 11 is bringing its own things too.
Yeah, I think it's a really big challenge, especially on Chaos Armors right now, right? Because they so much cannibalize like all the defensive and even the utility aspects that we have in the game. Because so many people are calling for, they should just keep the chaos, armor. But like, it's gonna be like super hard to balance that, and I can totally see like why. First of all, this is not easy and might not even be possible at all, right?
Yeah, I think like we could totally do it. I think our worry is that the game becomes really fast, like quickly stale and boring, right? If everyone is equipping the
Season
exact
10
same
got
chaos
very
armors
stale,
and the boots
very
and
boring,
pants,
very
right?
quickly.
Yeah.
It's just not going to be a good. Everyone's going to then say, "Oh, the build diversity sucks."
It was
And
really
that's
good
okay,
for a
'cause,
week
also
and a half.
in this case, right?
Exactly. Yeah, we've just broken all opportunity costs, which creates a lot of cool choices. On the chaos rift, like I think an interesting dev insight here that I think we really like.
Stop?
What we
Damn.
really like about chaos rifts, and I think it's something that we want to do more of, is that chaos rifts sort of integrated itself across the whole game, and we really like that sort of idea that it's not just this
So you played for like
green helltide
2
where I have to
hours?
go to this thing.
3 hours?
It's something that can sort of show up, and we really want to kind of do more of those types of things where it broadens and enriches all the activities as opposed to like you have to go to this one place. There will be some times when we say you have to go to this one place because we don't always want to do the exact same patterns over and over, but yeah, I think that was something we really liked about chaos rifts.
All right, yeah, that sounds interesting. I hope this is going to come back.
It was actually really good.
Sort of form.
I wish I could get into the story.
Overall.
I've never been able to get into the story in video
life
games
feature
in
that
general.
many people ask for, like especially like with gold being a bit of a shortage, and maybe also with the potential sort of cell phone coming into the game. Any chance we can get like a sell all button at the vendor?
Yes, please.
Yeah, I think so I'll answer this in a way I hope feels good. It's more efficient. We'd rather you get all of your gold from picking up and killing things as opposed to like picking all this shit up off the ground than going to sell it. Like we don't even really like how that's working with salvage right now. Like salvage was meant to make you feel good about the things you're getting, and it's clear the audience and the players don't really like that paradigm.
Interesting.
So our sort of long-term intent is that more of the gold comes from the things that you're doing and less from the items you have to sell. Ideally, what that looks like is that how do I get gold? I just have to play and I have to kill more monsters, and we'll just juice the amount of gold we're giving. Excuse me, sorry, that was terrible. The thing we did do in season 11 is that overall monsters drop way more gold piles, and that obviously scales with difficulty tiers. So I think like the amount of gold piles that normal monsters drop went up by like 800% or something insane like that.
Whoa, that's a lot.
So killing normal monsters is going to drop way more gold, and then elites, when you kill elites, they're going to drop also potentially up to like 15 gold piles if you get really lucky.
I'm kind of curious if they don't like
a lot
how
more
salvage is
the
playing,
monster
what their
killing portion
plans
of
for
the game
that
as
are
well.
long term.
Yeah, I think
that's interesting.
Like in
Curious
the
what they're cooking.
Belial influencing it or something.
Made it some max to start at the end game, and maybe you're just dumb, but you were just lost.
Next thing is about trading. Like,
there are a lot of different things to do.
Like an auction house or an in-game trading market. I know this has been
start doing stuff. See what you like.
Like hope or any development on this?
Not currently talking about doing any kind of additional trading systems or anything like that. I mean, quite kind of the opposite right now. We're primarily focusing on what is a version of solo self-found that can be in the game. But honestly, never say never. Like there is no
need to play
plans,
season 10 so you can get the golden retriever before it's gone.
Diablo 4.
Is that what they had in season 10? I don't even remember.
Right now on our
season 10 was fun though.
We're thinking about.
All right, fair. What do you think about the DPS meter or something? At least like maybe in the target dummy area, because sometimes it can be really hard to figure out like what's more damage, this aspect, that aspect. I feel like just a very like baseline DPS meter to understand performance, or maybe even at a world boss or something like that. That's more dedicated, but maybe on the target dummy, any chance for that?
No plans for it right now. I think it's something that we obviously like giving players stats, like Zavin was just talking about in the tower, wanting to give more information to the player. So it's not a never thing. It's just we currently aren't looking at it right now, but that doesn't mean that we're never going to add it. Okay. It's sort of a priority thing on like where do we want to focus our time, and this is something that we know that players want. So as it becomes more of a priority to players, it's definitely something we can take a look at.
Okay,
I think if you think about a tower as being this like streamlined thing, if we're really successful, it starts acting as sort of the benchmark, right? And the kind of the benchmarking tool. So right now, what other information we might need to provide about your run, we're really focusing on making sure the tower can actually provide that. And so like, oh, I know how well I did and what I did, right?
Okay, yeah. I mean, it kind of does. It would still be cool to have like some way to tell at some point. But okay, I have 3 more of these, and I think then that's going to make a good roundup here.
Wave called your
materials.
back.
I think you increased like some of the the stack size, I think it's still not enough. Like, can we have it, like, I don't know, stack up to 999 or something? I still have all these stacks in my inventory so much, just filling it up with the lack of stash space right now.
Yeah, I'll ask a cheeky question. It doesn't mean that we're changing anything.
That many?
I want you to think about this, and I want to hear, what your chat thinks.
Why do you need that many?
A lot of this would be a lot easier if we could just make this a material or currency. That obviously comes with a lot of trade-offs. So that's something we've talked about. Hearing feedback on that would be really helpful. But if it was all currencies, it would make this significantly easier and more manageable.
Yeah, I guess it wouldn't be tradable in this case. That's what you were hinting at.
Exactly. That would be the trade-off.
I think that would be okay. I mean, right now you can't really share the boss kills anyways. I felt that. I mean, I'm totally okay with that. That sounds good to me. It also fixes, some of the problems we had in the past with some of the multiplication of these items. So yeah, I'm all for it. Like that sounds good long term. Cool.
Okay.
Similar direction, like stash, but also like clan features. Like in Path of Exile, you have these shared stashes within your clan.
Yes, please.
I'm gonna say it, Diablo Immortal. There was like a ton of cool clan features. Like right now, it just feels so bare bones. Like the community aspect of, I love to play with other players. Like we're playing an online game. Diablo is open world. I mean, obviously a bit contrary to Soul Self-Found. Like I like to see so many options, right? Like everybody just plays
about a
however they
clan
enjoy
stash.
playing the game. But right now, it feels like
so you
there's
can
very
have
minimal
a shared stash for your clan.
Any kind of clan feature or clan stuff. So are there any plans in this direction, for the midterm future or something?
So one thing that we are supporting on the leaderboard, I know it doesn't scratch the itch here that you're talking about, but just kind of indicative of this, as we move on development, what is the stuff that's useful right now that we know we can just kind of take action on? So as an example, in the leaderboard, we are talking about doing filter options where you can see people based on your relationship to them. So I can see my friends, clan, things like that. Long term, I think we're just kind of listening to what the community actually needs from it.
We've been telling you for
I'm
2 years now,
of the mind that yeah, lots of games have lots of features. Even some Diablo games have those features. But if we're gonna,
a shared clan stash was data mined in Vessel of Hatred before it came out. Where did it go? Don the Crown made a YouTube video about it. People found the icon in the game files or something. It was on a map. We need a lot of clan features, but that one should be priority number 1. Why do we not have shared clan stash? A shared clan stash. I don't get it.
Bring it over. I want to make sure that we do the due diligence to make sure it fits in the game and actually supports the stuff that we are building towards. I think there have been cases where we have taken a feature from a previous Diablo title even and said okay, we're going to put this into the game, and it's well, the context is completely different. So it doesn't actually hit the same way as it did. How could it? Everything else around it is different. Clans are not such a, disparate feature, but it's still something that we want to be kind of careful about. Lots of games do progression and things like that. There's nothing we're actively talking about right now, but as we start developing Tower, and it is a really big social system having a leaderboard again, right? We're open.
Yeah, Paladin's coming. It's gotta be.
It's gotta be. Things they want us to develop.
I expect an announcement in about a month at the Game Awards, which is December 9th.
So if anyone has any thoughts or anything they desperately want, and think is really important, tell us. We're listening.
Schedule.
Will do.
Yeah, I'll give a really clear example of it just the context of D4 is very different. We're always looking to add big quality of life additions to the game. I'll point out Armory. I think Armory was something that everyone was sort of clamoring for. I don't know if they'd announced the class then. D3 had this, and we added it to D4. And frankly, there are some people that use Armory, but I wouldn't say it's anywhere near the amount of people that used Armory in D3, and that's because itemization and the crystallization of your build in Paragon is just all completely different. So that's why we try and take a sort of measured approach on okay, what are the things the community is asking for? How's it going to impact Diablo? Is this the right thing to be focusing on right now? We just added the Party Finder. Time flies. I guess it was a year ago, and the expansion, and that was a way to
December is 0.4. That's when the Druid's coming, but the full release they're shooting for March.
I think it's just important that we think about the context, and we're also driven by a lot of the feedback. So if this is a big thing that is continuously brought up and there's a huge volume of people that are man, I really wish clans were more part of the game, maybe that becomes part of the Tower, right? There's a big clan drive for the Tower. That's something we're always listening to. And one thing, sorry, it's a long answer. The other thing we are looking to do to support social a little bit more is being more lax with sort of some of the party interactions, right? Like we were just talking about it earlier, but that is something that going forward we want to be a little bit more open to the idea that you could make a ZDPS build, and the only purpose of you is to make your friends and allies cool. Like we think that's a fun missing piece to the overall puzzle of what you can do in D4.
That's awesome. It always, like in D3, was always like a nice way to catch up as well. Like if you, I don't know, you like for whatever reason you have some IRL stuff and you're starting the season a week late, you can just join the party and be like the support player in the beginning until you're strong enough in Diablo 3, you know, to help your group, and something like that in D4. I'm all for it, man. That sounds great. That sounds great. Second to last one, I have personal interest in this as well, because I still have, like, you know, my first barbarian that I made on the launch of Diablo 4, and I did the level 100 and the first Lilith kills and everything. I really don't want to delete that character, right? But we have very limited character slots. Would there be a chance for like maybe like a rebirth kind of feature, like similar to how we have it in D3, to keep, like, you know, these like
only been asking for this one for
OG
2 years too,
like kind of alive in a way?
Yeah, I'll be honest, it's something we have talked about. There's no timeline on this or anything like that. There's some additional complexities. Again, we were just saying, like, yeah, take a thing that existed and put it in this game. There's always little differences, always little gotchas and stuff like that. So we want to make sure if we make it, it's for the player experience of Diablo 4 first and foremost. But no plans. It's not even a guarantee that we're going to do it exactly like maybe people think about it, right? So I don't want to say like, yeah, explicitly that feature is going to make it. Like, it's not that. But the problem space you're describing is very real. We all feel it, we all see it, we all know it, right? And as when Vessel launched, right, you had some new slots, you had a new character you were going to make. Eventually, your players who are really playing the game a lot and making new characters all the time, they're going to max out their slots, all of them. And then what happens? And as you recall, we were just describing a potential new feature, right, with the Halos, where it belongs to that guy. So there's stuff that we have to work through. And again, there's a very long future and long road ahead for Diablo 4 as a whole. It's not just like this one feature. So we're in constant development. Like, Diablo 4's got a bright future. I've mentioned that before. I'm going to say it again. I'm happy to always say it. So
sounds good.
I agree. I know a lot of people don't.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. And also,
totally.
I
I'll
have
even
high
say
hopes for the
I
future.
feel this, Rob, like we're playing like 3 different versions of Diablo 4, and I have like an internal account where I don't even like deleting internal characters. It's like, oh, but I played this one so much. So, totally.
You get this like attachment to your characters. Like, oh, this is the character I played on the launch of this and that. And,
exactly.
I don't want it. I feel bad deleting it. There's like so much nostalgia.
I just delete them.
But that's
still have my day one wizard from Diablo 3.
Yes.
I've rebirthed that, like, I don't even know how many times. It's literally my day one. I'm like never deleting that. I've deleted other things. I don't care.
All right.
That one never.
You do all about your original? Yeah.
Okay.
So
I think I have my first sword that I leveled to 100.
The last question with this like bright future in mind. So there recently was an announcement for Diablo 4 coming to China on the 11th or 12th of December. And parallel, there's this event called the Game Awards.
Ooh.
Should Diablo fans be watching that? What do you guys think?
Everyone should be watching
gamer.
Oh, gamers.
Yes.
Every gamer.
We're gonna watch it. Yeah. Everyone should watch it. And Diablo
wouldn't
gamers
miss the Game Awards.
Okay.
I mean,
we ain't missing
that's
it.
the most
pretty close to
concrete
the
hint
season
we've
launch,
gotten.
So I'm really excited for that. Sounds good. Thank you so much, my friends, for taking the time, joining us here. And,
Real talk chat, my
open
nipples just
about
got hard.
All the things coming for Diablo 4. Really appreciate
What
it.
he said? We should tune into the Game Awards.
And those changes to come. Thank you so much.
December 11th.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thank you,
This
Rob.
has been fun.
I'll be streaming it December 11th.
GG, take care.
Come watch the next expansion reveal,
GG.
because that's what's going to happen.
GG.
Not confirmed, but basically
All right,
confirmed.
my friends. That's been the developers.
Oof. I'm excited. Just go live? Just go. What do you mean just go live? I am live. Bow, bow, bow. Alright, let's change up my title. To the Game Awards in person? Oh. That's where is the Game Awards? I don't even remember where it is. It is... Where is the Game Awards? Los Angeles. I could, but I don't think it's open to the public. Zoop. Yeah, I don't live that far from LA. So it'd be like a good car ride, but you could do it. All right, let's get some music going. Oh, that's on the wrong. There we go. And then, thanks for sharing the info. I always do my best to try to stream those events just to make sure more people are able to see them and stuff. I know for some people think they're incredibly boring, but I like just any little bits of information I can get and absorb. I like having that knowledge so I can share it with other people. So I do my best to do it. All right, we gotta change. Bob, we'll keep checking in. Hell yeah. Yeah, I play like all the ARPGs. I play other games too, but it focused like 80% on ARPGs. But take it easy, Robert. Have a good one. Yeah, I'm so excited for December now. All right. Is there anything else I need to change? Can I change my category? I can. Path of Exile. All right. So, I'm definitely not going to be able to stream as long as I normally do today, because like I mentioned earlier, I do have to go to my eye doctor, which I need to leave here at like 2 at the latest, which is an hour and a half. So we can get a little gaming in. Zoop. Let's start with an easy map. We'll do like a 2. Maybe a 3? Oh wait, I can see here. Never mind. That one. Lighted strand map. Maps item quantity map. That's weird. A white map with stats on it? Why does that one look different? Lighted strand. Oh, because it's automatically blight? I see. Can we juice this? Yes. Okay. Can be anointed up to 3 times. I don't know what anoint means. I've heard the word. Don't know how it works. Whatever it is, I don't think I have it. Alright, so plug this in here. And let's do it. Put these guys on. I don't know why they fell off. Alright, game time! Billy Talent? Hell yeah. Where are the... Whoa, what are all these? I've never seen that before.
The blight is trying to spread.
Maybe I just never noticed.
Blight is trying to spread. Stellium! Ugh, new roots!
Holy. You mean you just want to know? Yeah, I haven't done this too many times, so I'm not really sure what works and what doesn't. I'm definitely much more knowledgeable about PoE 2 than PoE 1. Is the purple one? That's minions? It's always happened so fast that I usually just kind of click shit. You go all purple? Interesting. What did I just click? The downside of my starting portal being so close to this, to the start of this. Meowdy, what up, Quigs? Did you watch the interview at all, Quigs?
It's branching, Exile! Put out you mycelium! New roots!
This is PoE 1. You're on examination under oath. Anything good? So they soft confirmed the Game Awards. They didn't specifically come out and say anything, but Rob asked, is there any reason why Diablo fans should tune into the Game Awards? And Zaven got all up in the camera and was like, yeah, of course, gamers should watch the Game Awards. So if they don't announce something, I'd be very surprised. I'm trying to think what else they talked about. Oh, they're adding cooldown reduction to a bunch of other slots, like gloves and rings and stuff. So that's nice. That was one of the takeaways. What else did they say? They talked a bit about potentially adding like clan features. They talked about it for a while. Really, they didn't confirm anything, but I really hope that a clan stash comes. Like, that's the one thing that clans really need. I'm getting my ass kicked. Probably should like upgrade these and stuff. Alright, I think we lost. Alright, let me... I haven't played PoE since PoE 2 came out. I came back because a new league started last week. They need to put attack speed on weapons. They might have said that. I don't remember. I don't remember, to be honest. They were rapid firing a lot, and I was also talking to chat over it, kind of, so I missed some stuff. But is this PoE 2? This is PoE 1. A new league just came out last week. Anything cool? There wasn't like anything like crazy, but there was some interesting things that I can't really remember. I'm gonna have to go back through it and like remember everything they said. I should have been taking notes. My memory's the worst. I think Rax's interview was probably a little bit more informational because like it already happened, so there was a lot of questions that Rob just didn't bother asking. Heckin' not note taker? Would you be taking notes? Let's be real. Wait, that's the whole map? What am I missing? What's the motivation to play PoE if 2 is out? Is 2 not good? No, 2 is good, but PoE 1 just had a new league last week. They're continuing to update both games. Like, that would be like saying, like, why play Super Mario Galaxy when, you know, whatever, Mario Odyssey exists? Like, they're both good games. Why not play them both?
Hello.
Weird example, but that's the first thing that came to my mind. Okay, I guess that's it.
Greetings.
So the fact that I have all of this stuff in here and none of it sold, oof. Oof. Bunch of garbage.
Here for a deal.
I don't hate it.
Greetings.
All right. What map are we doing now? What's the motivation for anything? Someone stop this Earth. It's spinning out of control. Touché. Monsters hinder on hit with spells. No, thank you. Chouse. Scour. I need to update my loot filter. Alright, what are we doing here? Immune to cold damage, we could do that one. Team increased damage, monsters have 30% chance to avoid all damage from hits. Wait, why do I not have the interface down here to do this? Ah, now I do. Okay. Okay, it's creeping all slow over here. Ooh, nice piece of candy. All right, so we will get both of those. Wait, did I not get it? There we go. Okay. And we'll do this one with that. We'll get that chunk, and then what else? Probably should have done that first. It's fine. Blow it up. P? Who? Tornado. Oh shit, I missed that. Clamato? Hell yeah. So how's Pindle going?
Return to your barren world.
It's a lot of dudes. I will see when the new season arrives if you're going to be happy or just a bad Christmas update will depend. You hate it there? Scared the MF runs will win? Yeah? I mean, when I used to put out a bunch of Pindleskin run videos, there were some that popped off hard. Like there was like 5 or 6 like pretty good uniques. And then there were other ones that were like, I got a couple low level uniques and like maybe one like possibly usable rare. Maybe. It's such a gamble. Like that's the hard part with RNG. You never know what you're gonna get. God, fat finger. Don't blow me up. I don't like it. Meganord's girdle. We got a girdle. You got a Vex today? Hell yeah. Is that what that clip was that you sent me? I saw that you sent me some, but I haven't had a chance to look at it yet. You'd rather get punched in the stomach than continuously run Pindle? Hey, man. Not for everybody. Somebody's got to do it. For now, enjoying this league. It's been a while since you played PoE 1 before PoE 2 update arrives. Yeah, same. It's been refreshing coming back and playing this. I don't know. I'm liking it a lot more than I thought I was going to. Crafting recipe, give me that. Tornado wand. Arena, that's the boss. That's the boss. Oh, wait. What is this guy? Is he just gonna die like this? Like, yep. Okay, that was too easy. Atlas mission. Good, nice. Is this the update? This is the new league that started last week, yeah. This is PoE 1. They never disappoint. I mean, I think they have a pretty good track record, but the launch of PoE 2 and like the first couple updates were pretty poorly received. So I wouldn't say never, but their track record is generally pretty good. Do I care about full clearing? Not really, but... Oh, I guess I already did. But with 3 monsters remaining. Thought I saw somebody. Oh, there he is. Hole? True. 2 monsters remaining. Yeah, honestly, for the live streams and stuff, they needed to just have Mark. For the pre-recorded stuff, Jonathan's fine. All right, so we got this guy.
Greetings.
What did Rob say in the interview? People are not convinced? I mean, there was a lot. So I don't know. Hey, when Illustrator deletes your workspace, did you know that you can save and export your workspaces so you can make like a backup? Just throwing that out there. He does not need to be customer facing during the lives. Yeah.
Glad to see you.
I'm pretty sure you can anyways. You never made a workspace on the laptop? Oh. Well, go to your other computer wherever it is, export it, and then import it on the laptop. That seems okay-ish. But yeah, like, it's funny because like I watched the whole interview and like I can't really remember a whole lot of what they talked about.
Hopefully there'll be interest.
Like it had to have been tough for Rob going after Rax because Rax already asked most of the important questions. He had some good ones though. Too much work to get anything off that laptop? It still boots though. You should install like remote desktop software on it. How long was it? A little over an hour. Like an hour and a half probably. Like the Rax one, they started like 5 minutes early. And they probably ended 20 minutes ago. Okay, so what was I trying to do these gloves? Oh, I'm trying to get 3 green sockets on these gloves. That's going to be difficult. All you need to do is just plug it into a monitor. But, yeah, that would work too. So if I need 3 green, I could use 120 chromatic and then pray that the 4th one is blue. Because I want to get these links. Go check the interview on YouTube. Gonna be back. Yeah, let me know if there was a certain thing they were talking about. But, like, people are so negative about Diablo 4 no matter what they say. And I don't get that mentality. Like, if you want a game to be good, why not let them have a chance to make it good, right? Like, they just assume if it's bad at one point, it's bad forever. And nothing they can say can change their mind. And it's so defeating. To 50-50 with D4? Is it? I mean, they're never going to get everything right for every person because we're all human. We all want different things. But I definitely feel like they've been trying to make a better game. I think the biggest issue is it's just taking longer to get there than people want it to, but 120 Gamba. That's oof. Do I have periodically target rare, unique enemies in range, calling forth massive hand. That's that. Yeah, that one. That one was fun. Although, the one I have now gives me more survivability. I should stick with it. Okay. Maps. That one's done. That one's not. I need to find a better place to put that. We'll do random rarity. Meh. Meh. That's fine. What does that mean? Oh, right. I did kill one of the Maven bosses. I don't know how that works exactly. Defeat tier 6+ map bosses while the Maven is present in order to receive her invitation. I see. Yeah, the D4 community, they're not negative at all. No. Happy bunch of people. Completely super easy to please. Everybody wants the exact same thing from the game. It's fine. Man, December 11th though, huh? Oh boy. Murder boots! Complains game is too hard and grind is too long. Devs make it easier. Complain the game's too easy. Devs make improvement and change them. Community complaint. Yep. Yep. It's like no game is ever gonna please everybody, but they're trying to make it better. You forget, when do you run Labyrinth and QE for the first time? Act 3. Just got there. Do you wait for the quest or just go to the traps ablazing? I think you just need to finish like the 6 things. The 6 trial things, and then you can just go there. I think.
Let's see you almost got it.
Gotta have the trials to unlock it? Yeah. Need to do three more? Yeah. And then you go to the little altar thing in town. Ooh, piece of candy. You're welcome. Evasion, movement speed, cannot be stunned by suppressed spell damage. Debilitate enemies for 4 seconds when you suppress their spell damage. Interesting. Interesting. You know what? We're gonna play for a minute. We're gonna take this out. It doesn't feel terrible. You've only made it to the beginning of Act 4 in PoE 1 before quitting? Gotcha. Well, hopefully you make it further this time. That actually didn't feel bad at all. You don't know how people finish the campaign under-leveled? You ran through the campaign and only stopped to hit a few minutes, and you still finished the campaign at like 70. Yeah. I don't remember what level I was when I finished it, but yeah, I don't get it either. Like, they just run through, don't kill anything. And then still it seems like they, like, obliterate the boss faster than I ever could. I don't get it. Someone's at my door. Be right back. Okay. Ooh. A secure contract. I need to get kinetic rain of clustering. I need to run some labs. Heist is the biggest waste of time. I haven't done a heist, actually. Are you saying that from personal experience or from what other people say about it? I'm still trying to figure out how betrayal works. I was messing with it a bit. And it's just like, I just kind of click buttons. You didn't like it? Gotcha. That's the one where you have to like run in and do a bunch of stuff and then like run out and like do it like a heist. Like, you enjoyed Delve? I haven't done much Delve either. I didn't really understand it all that well. Like, I did it for a bit, and I'm like, what's the point of this? Wait, what was that? What was the tireless extractor? Oh, a div card. But I know I need to do it for one of the crafting recipes, so I'll definitely do it at some point.
Greetings.
Ooh. Alright, where were we going? I don't remember. I think there was... Oh, yeah, I could take that for sure. And maybe I'll work towards the lightning nodes over here.
What are we shipping today?
I agree.
This is neither the time nor the place.
Give me my free shit. A ghetto map. Oh yeah.
Greetings. Go with courage.
Okay, so I'm curious what's more likely. Using chromatic orbs to try to get blue, green, 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 or saving up 120 to guarantee 3 green. How wow wow wow! Hi, Nichols. So I feel like these are better for me. They have way more life. They have lightning resistance, which is my lowest resist right now, outside of chaos, obviously. I don't care about losing the fire resist. Attack speed's nice, I think. Do I need attack speed or do I need cast speed? I'm not sure with my build. Well, if I use this one, I need attack speed. Is this one also attack? It is. Okay. "13 energy shield's not great. The rest seem... Wait, this is tier 1? Oh, because it's hybrid. That checks out. Tier 1, tier 1, tier 2, tier 2, tier 2. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with those. Definitely need to quality those up. I guess I could use... There's like different things to add different kinds of quality, isn't there? There's so many different currencies that I can never remember what kind of things you can do to things. Also, you can get a Chaos Orb. And a Portal Gem. 2 of them, apparently. You're a currency. Your face is a currency. Take that. Also, I could use Scarabs. I always forget about those. Wow, 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 wow. Alright, so we need to go to... Is it Act 3? Or... No, 4? 5? 4. 4. And then go to that guy.
But wait a moment.
I've never done this before. This should just give me a chaos orb, right? Easy.
Of course.
I wonder if there's a chance to get more? I wonder how many jeweler's orbs I could get, or how many chromatics I could get for a jeweler's orb. Faustus.
Have you got?
Lily does div cards?
Hail
Oh,
Godslayer.
nice.
Ah, what are we shipping today?
Bum 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 bum. That's not what I need.
Greetings.
What do I need? What am I doing? Currency exchange.
Ahoy there!
I want chromatic. I have transmutation? Nothing. Okay. Jeweler's orbs. 6 to 1? Oof. So yeah, I'm not gonna be able to get there. I need so many chromatic orbs. Heck. Or I could try to re-roll this one. Oh, that's no. Try and flip-flop them completely. That'd be brutal.
Hello. Keep your life to your own.
Hail Godslayer.
What am I looking for? Too many things. Womp 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 womp. Womp 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 womp. I don't even know if I'm looking at the right colors. Don't remember what I want. Ballista? Is that the word I'm looking for? Ballista totem support. Supports any bow or wand attack skill, causing it to summon a ballista totem that uses the skill for you. That's interesting. What are we doing? I'm just looking at different gems, which give us different skills. How you doing, Emily? What's up? So I could, like, hypothetically make one of these red and then drop ballistas that would cast my spell for me. And I've heard that's really good. But I'm not sure why. +2 to maximum number of ballistas, probably because I can double it. Doing Fire and Ice Witch, nice. How's that going for you? I also really need to automate my flasks. Okay, those are all complete. What up, B-Mag? How you doing? Alright, we'll do the Tropical Island. What do we got? No Spell Reflect, right? That looks fine. Oh, we could do Carrick missions also. Incomplete. That's tier 8, though. We're not ready for that. Gonna be running maps yourself? Nice, nice. You want to do Blood Mage? Is Blood Mage in PoE 1? I don't even know. Fortune favors the brave. One of the options available from this... Oh, wait. What does that do? We applied at random, including options you have not yet unlocked. Oh, I see. No, thank you. You think so? I hope so, for your sake. All right, we're just gonna run it normal. Do I want to stick with this, with the rain versus power siphon? I don't know. What's up, Caden? How you doing? Tuning in from Australia? Nice. So do you watch Upside Down? Riz, you're dumb. Hell yeah! What kind of question is that? Of course he does. I mean, I don't know. Must make it hard to poop. The toilet hanging from the ceiling. Which doesn't go Blood Mage PoE 1? What are its ascendancies? I don't even know. That's why seatbelts were invented? Oh, that checks out. Necro-occultist elementalist. That makes sense. You know, I'm almost thinking it needs to be like more like one of the roller coaster harnesses that go over your shoulders. I don't know if a seatbelt's gonna do it. I can't click that thing to save my life. How's my defenses? So my fire resist 75, cold resist 75, lightning is 67, chaos is -40. My life is 3,000, my mana is 3,500, my max energy shield is 2,000. Yeah, the chaos is rough. Who needs chaos? It's fine. How do you open your stats like that? Just the C key? I don't know what it is on controller, but figure out how to automate your flask. Do you use chaos flask for the res? True. I know it's a thing, but I haven't really looked into it. I also wouldn't mind automating a Quicksilver flask. Oh yeah. Cave. You can help if needed. I might take you up on that. You might have to be patient with me, though. Sometimes Riz kind of dumb. I wonder. I'm currently using Spellslinger with Hydrosphere. Could I use Spellslinger with Kinetic Rain and then go back to Power Siphon and do it that way? There's probably a cooldown on it, right? 34% increase cooldown. I want to try it just to see what it does. Why can't I turn it on? Hello? Why am I dying? Why will it not let me turn this on? Does it not support this? Oh, because it's not a spell. That's why. I could potentially do it the other way around, though. No, I couldn't. Also not a spell. Balls! That's fine. Let's just try stuff, see how it feels. I'm a feel guy. I can look at numbers all day. I gotta feel stuff out. I don't even see anything happening with that one. Gotta get that. Okay, forget about that one. I might tinker with some other spells, though. Where was the juicer? Right here. So we're definitely gonna get that. We'll get that as our last one, though. 50% chance to contain an additional rare weapon. That's fine. That one's fine. Full damage is fine. So we'll do this one first, because that's pack size. Guess we can get both of those together. And then we go... get all that. Then come down here. Didn't mean it. I'll get that. And those. And then finish it off with those. I think that's good. Where's the detonator? Right there. For the what? For the Calgar, got it. Alright, that wasn't as juicy as I was hoping. For the Calgur. But basically what you said. Game looks super similar to D4. I mean, it's the same genre. So yeah. Path of Exile 1, which is what I'm playing, was inspired by Diablo 2 because they didn't like the direction that Diablo 3 was going, so they made their own game. And now they're working on PoE 2 as well, which is interesting. Also really good. Didn't know that? Yeah. Seems like a great time to talk about that Diablo 1 stream. Thought you weren't going to ask anymore. You never knew that? You remember playing old Diablo on Xbox 360? Wait. Diablo was on Xbox 360? I didn't know that. I guess Diablo 3 would have been. Yeah, I've always played it. Well, I guess I did have it on the Switch. But I was always a PC guy. Eight monsters remain. Where are you at? I wanted to kill him, but I don't think I'm going to find him. Oh, well. We out.
Greetings.
Alright, do I care about these? Yeah, might as well. Wait, what even are scouting missions? Scouting reports. I don't know, I'll just get these for now. What's my favorite RPG of all time? Favorite RPG of all time. Do-do-do-do. 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 You want to learn how to make video games? Seems so damn hard. It really does. I dabbled a little bit trying to learn, and I did make like a very basic like Vampire Survivors-esque game about ducks. But it took a while. And I didn't finish it, but it was playable. Link to the Past is incredible. Such nostalgia. Yeah, so back much earlier in my streaming career, I was big into A Link to the Past randomizers, and I streamed a lot of them, and that was a lot of fun. And every now and then I get the itch to go do that again, and I might have to do it at some point. The most you've gotten into is 3D modeling, which is pretty hard. So yeah, all of the 3D models that I was using, I just downloaded like free models off the internet. Yeah, that stuff's tough. Reroll all of Keurig Atlas missions, adding layers of delirium to all non-unique maps. Interesting. Okay, so day one of asking for a Link to the Past stream. You know, that just might happen. I mean, the Diablo 1 stream might happen too. There's a pretty good chance. Someday. Onslaught! What does Onslaught do? I don't even heckin' know. You're using Blender to model, but it was so hard you pretty much gave up? Yeah. So I was trying to learn 3D modeling like back in high school, which the tools back then were rudimentary compared to what exists today, I'm sure. Riz went to high school a long time ago. But yeah, it was brutal. Although I did get second place at a state competition for 3D animation. You remember CAD? I do. I actually was going, I took a bunch of classes in high school for architecture. So I learned a bunch of CAD software, but I don't remember any of it. How do you get your stashes like that? Oh, you mean like the names? So on PC, you just like right click on it and you can name it and color it however you want to. You can change the affinity for it and that kind of thing. But like the ones that are laid out differently are like those are premium tabs that you have to buy. Otherwise, they'll just all look like this, or more specifically, like this. CAD is computer aided design, probably, but it's like drafting stuff. Like people use it to like make blueprints of houses and stuff like that. You can use it for a lot of things, but that's what I learned it for. It's like technical drawings, like not like a Photoshop or something or like an Illustrator, but it's like very technical, detailed stuff with like measurements and that kind of thing. There's probably other use cases for it, but that's what I know it for. Buying on PoE is a lot of money for. Yeah. The premium tabs are pretty expensive. They do go on sale like every couple weekends, like every 3 or 4 weekends. But even then, they're like what, like $5-6 each. I think. I don't remember. I do think it would be cool if eventually they made it to where, like, if you did so much in the game, you could eventually buy it with in-game currency. However, Path of Exile is a free game, and that's the one way that they make money. So, you have flashbacks of CAD when you see anything with little squares. It's fair. That's fair. Buying a Diablo game without a Diablo in it's cray-cray? Well, I'm not playing Diablo at the moment. I'm playing Path of Exile. But I am in favor, personally, of them saving Diablo in Diablo 4 for the end. Because in Diablo 2, Diablo was the big bad, but then an expansion came out and overshadowed him. In Diablo 3, he was the big bad, and then another expansion came out and overshadowed him. In Diablo 4, if they save him till the end, they can make him the final threat. That said, I still want him to be a force in the world sooner rather than later. So hopefully we at least feel his presence soon. Hopefully. What time? Okay, 1:30. I have a little bit of time left. I can't stream too much longer today because I do have to go to the eye doctor. But I still do have like a half hour. Atlas complete. Atlas complete. Okay, so those are done. That's done. That's done. That's done. All those are done. You've been playing Diablo since 1999. Diablo 4 was the biggest disappointment. When was the last time you gave it a chance, though? Like, were you one of the people who tried at the beginning and then, like, just gave up on it? Or have you been giving it a chance? Because I feel like it's been getting significantly better. It's 23:30 by you? Dang. It's late. You play every season? Okay, that's fair. Like, I definitely think there's plenty of room for improvement, but I feel like there is about every ARPG. And I feel like they're continuing to try to make the game better. It's taking a little longer than we'd like it to, admittedly, but I still enjoy it. I'm very eager to see what they do with Season 11 because they did the PTR so early and got so much feedback. I do expect pretty big changes. Curious to see what those changes look like. I must do an IRL stream at a time? I don't know if that's for me. Ooh, a legendary strongbox. Interesting. Interesting. Guarded by 3 packs of monsters, 65% increased quantity of contained items, 1,970% increased rarity. Okay. Guarded by 3 rare monsters, guarded by a stream of tormented spirits. Spicy. Send it. Where are they going? What are you doing? Okay, that was way easier than I expected it to be. But yeah, as far as the they released a beta, it's a live service game. They all are basically betas until they're done, because they're gonna keep changing until they don't support the game anymore. So I don't know if that's fair. Like that's the the whole live service model. It's a blessing and a curse. We get content more often, but if you like the changes and then they change it, that's gonna feel bad for you. So I don't know. Can't please everybody. Good night, anxiety. Sweet dreams. Whoa. Whoa. You wanna die, bruh? You wanna die, bruh? Thank you. I'm sorry for rushing your death. Oh boy. I'm like, why can't I go that way? Oh, because that's the water line. Shit. Go! Too far, too far. Holy shit, this was further than I thought. Oh god. Question, why does your Diablo look different from mine? Look at the, this isn't Diablo. This is Path of Exile. Yeah, it's pretty cool. So this is Path of Exile 1, but there's also Path of Exile 2 now, and they're both pretty good. They're a lot more complicated than Diablo. So some people like that, some people hate that. Really just depends on what you're looking for out of your ARPGs, but this game's pretty damn cool. Oh god! Imagine almost dying. Imagine dying. Should have put up a portal. Would have been the smart thing to do. But I panicked to get back into combat quickly. Pew, pew, pew. Yeah, we'll be playing Diablo again probably a couple weeks. Maybe. Also, expansion news soon. Love your Diablo streams. Always learning something new from me. Hell yeah. Yeah, I'm excited for season 11. I know people are pretty mixed on it, but I have high hopes because I liked a lot of the stuff they were doing, and they did the PTR so early to where they could get a lot of feedback, so they have like a lot of stuff to work off of. So hopefully it's really good. Would it be weird to have hot sauce from a little jar instead of a bottle? Would it be weird? Maybe a little. I don't think it's a bad thing though. Just have a little hot sauce spoon that comes with it.
Hello.
Treasuries run out of gold. Whack. Wait. Kongor's Undying Rage Terrible. Is this named after King Kongor? Does he have his own weapon in the game? I know he's always playing like two-handed mace builds and shit. Command like a king, and nothing will stand in your way. It 100% is. Holy shit. That's fun. Wait. Wait. Forgot what I was doing? I'm not stashing, I'm selling. What up, Psychosa? Hey, Psychosa, I got a package today. Did I? I sure did. It's right there. You may have found cheaper bottles. Misha, did you hear what I just said? Did you hear what I was just talking about? About this mace? Did I sniff it? I did not. It came like maybe 20, 30 minutes ago, and I just put it on the ground. You might have zoned out. So I didn't know that your friend has an item named after him in the game. And I thought that was really cool. Go open it. It's right there. You just put a little tape on it? I haven't investigated it too much yet. It's actually sick, right? Like, I read the name and I'm like, wait a second. Is this named after King Kongor? And then I read the text at the bottom and it says, command like a king and nothing will stand in your way. So it's clearly designed for him. And I know he always played two-handed mace build, so I thought that was fun. I want one. I want an item named after me. I wonder if he paid for that or if they did that because they like him. Because I know for a while you could do that. Birthing unique, hoping for a head on her. Good luck. Wish you the best. Attack damage while dual wielding. Blech. Go investigate it. I will do it after stream.
Hello.
Two awful things? Balls. Alright, we're gonna stash it. Where'd it go? Oh. Not equipable. Owned. There it is. Alright, to the tree! We will also try to birth the unique.
I greet you once again.
I don't know what the right play is here. I don't know what's good.
The Genesis tree accepts your
Minions! Got nothing for that one? I guess I burned through them all. We got a minion wand. What arms do I have? These ones! Oh, you mean these? So I use that guy with the tornado. Mostly because when you crit with an attack while it's active, it shoots the ice projectiles, and I use an attack rather than a spell. 60% to find lavish is good. So I don't know what the different ones are. I should probably figure that out. Which one is which? Wait. Lavish money? Arms aren't real? Oh. And then I also have this guy. But I'm mostly using this one just for the survivability. Yeah, I figured you meant currency. I just realized it has 23% quality. That's fun. Not too bad either. I thought so. Ugh. That one seemed okay. I do like this one with the massive hands, but I didn't care as much for the Ulgraft. Maybe just because it's blue, I don't know. But yeah, I'm sure there's, like, I still have not engaged with this one at all yet. I just unlocked it, so that's still kind of a mystery. How's the Rob thing? It was okay. We were definitely going to get less from his because we already had the Rax interview, so that really narrowed down the things he was able to talk about. However, they did kind of soft confirm the Game Awards, because Rob asked, is there any reason the Diablo fan should be watching the Game Awards? And Zavin got right up in the camera. He's like, yeah, you guys should absolutely watch the Game Awards. And I was like, oh, all right. Trying to remember if there was any, like, big things that they announced, but I can't think of anything huge. They did talk about, like, how, like, with a lot of the itemization changes and stuff, or, like, there was a lot less cooldown reduction because of the way that they changed stuff. Because, like, we don't have the, like, all the same tempers, and the way the masterworking's changing. Like, we can't do the triple crits on cooldown reduction, and people were worried a lot of the builds were going to be dead because of that. So they added cooldown reduction to gloves and rings, I think they said. They might have said amulets, too. No, amulet already had it. Maybe one other slot. I don't remember. What else did they talk about? There was a bunch. I wish I really needed to take notes during those kind of things. It seemed a little shorter than Rax's, which made sense also. But I'm still... The way they talk about the game, you can tell they feel confident about the future, even if the current state isn't where they want it to be. And that's what makes me happy. Like they said, they currently have 3 different versions of the game that they're working on, because they have the live game, and then they have probably the next season, and then also the expansion. So it's like... It's got to be a shit show for them. Like, I'm surprised that during all the interviews and campfire chats and stuff that they haven't accidentally said something that was from a future season or expansion that, like, accidentally slipped through. Like, how I guess they're media trained. But yeah, I'm actually going to call it here because I need to leave to go to the eye doctor very shortly. And I need to put pants on and stuff. So yeah. I'll be back tomorrow, normal time, probably. Hope y'all have a great day.